The 19th session of the Senate in the first regular session of the 20th Congress is hereby called to order. Senator Rafi Tulfo will lead the chamber in prayer.
Almighty God, creator and judge of all, we gather before you today as senators of the Republic, humbled by the great responsibility entrusted to us by the Filipino people. Lord, we confess that our nation has often been wounded by corruption, dishonesty, and betrayal of public trust. You have called us not only to be lawmakers, but also to be law-abiders, to lead not just through the words we write on legislations, but through the example we lead in our own lives. Guide us to uphold our duties with utmost integrity, never seeking to bend or contravene the very laws we are sworn to uphold. Guide investigators, prosecutors, and even our own conscience that justice may be done without delay and accountability be preserved. Bigyan niyo po kami ng pusong tapat, kamay na malinis, at tinig na matapang. Ipalala niyo po sa amin na bawat pisong nawawala dahil sa korupsyon ay pagkain, tirahan, at dignidad na inaagaw mula sa mahirap. That every act of dishonesty diminishes not only our institutions, but the very soul of our nation. Bless the Senate of the 20th Congress, O Lord, that we may rise above self-interest and choose what is righteous. May our legacy not be one of scandal, but of service, not one of shame, but of courage. This we ask in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. The Secretary will please call the roll.
Roll call of members. The Honorable Senator Aquino, Senator Cayetano Alan, Senator Cayetano Pia, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Ejercito, Senator Escudero, Senator Estrada, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Go, Senator Ontiveros, Senator Lacson, Senator Lapid, Senator Legarda, Senator Marcoleta, Senator Marcos, Senator Padilla, Senator Pangilinan, Senator Tulfo Erwin, Senator Tulfo Rafi, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Camil, Senator Villar Mark, Senator Zubiri. The Senate President is present.
With 22 senators present, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, today we have a number of visitors with us, starting with guests of Senator Bamakino, Mayor M.M. Luego, Mobini, Davao del Oro, People and Planet Coalition members, Mayor Angelo Capistano of Silay, Misamis Oriental, Mayor Bong Marquez of Sablayan, Mindoro Occidental, Mayor Eugene Fuentebella of Tigaon, Camarines Sur. We also have with us guests of Senator Lapid, Mayor Lisa Ermita of Balayan, Batangas, together with the BHWs of Balayan. We have also Mayor Trina Andres and Vice Mayor Lito Andres and councilors of Rizal, Nueva Ecija. We have also with us the awardees of the 2025 Metrobank Foundation and officers of the Metrobank Foundation headed by Mr. Philip Francis D. And we also have with us here Mayor Carl Baak of Rizal Kalinga, the provincial government officials of Lanao del Sur. We have students, Mr. President, your guests, students of La Immaculada Concepcion School. We have also LG officials of Cabangan, Zambales, led by Mayor Ronald Apostol. We have also, those are guests of Senator Jingo Estrada, and guest of Senator Lauren Legarda is Mayor Christopher Picho of Belison Antique, Vice Mayor Cuhayon of Baao, Camarines Norte, and Vice Mayor Michael Ray Villano of Taal, Batangas. We also have with us the barangay captains and kagawads from Iloilo City, as well as our guests. These are guests of Senator J.V. Ersto and guests of Senator Wing Gatchalian, Datu Agong Aljun Kayawan, Mr. President. May we recognize them?
Thank you, Mr. Majority Leader. We would like to welcome all the guests of our colleagues to the Senate this afternoon.
Mr. President, due to the importance of the matter, we'd like to recognize our distinguished colleague from San Juan, Zambales, and the Republic of the Philippines, Northern Senator Jinggoy Ejercito Estrada.
Senator Jinggoy Estrada is recognized. What is the pleasure of the gentleman?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, the title of my privileged speech is No One is Safe. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I rise today on a matter of personal and collective privilege. Yesterday, in the aftermath of the Senate Blue Ribbon hearing we held last Monday, my name was viciously, maliciously, and intentionally dragged and attacked at the Tri-Committee hearing of the House of Representatives. My attacker was no less than the person who I moved to be cited in contempt for shamelessly and repeatedly lying under oath about his role in the anomalous and ghost flood control projects in the 1st Engineering District of the province of Bulacan, where he served as Assistant District Engineer and later as OIC District Engineer until he was recently sacked. Mr. President, at the Blue Ribbon Committee hearing, all this person did was to play innocent, feign ignorance, and to try to convince us that he was simply following orders and instructions from his boss. From receiving $1 billion of cash, talking to pseudo-contractors, signing falsified documents, all the way to gambling away millions and millions of money stolen from the public coffers at casinos, he claimed that in all of these, he was just following orders. Indeed, when confronted and cornered with a barrage of questions from this representation and our other colleagues about his fantastic and shady lifestyle and dealings, he fed the committee lies and stories that taxed our credulity to the hilt and left us and the public in awful disgust. Clearly, he perjured himself and we cited him in contempt. Bunsod sa aking motion, ipinakulong natin siya. Mr. President, appearing the next day at the TRICOM hearing at the House of Representatives, this former DPWH Assistant District Engineer by the name of Bryce Erickson Diaz Hernandez, or Bryce, also known as Marvin Santos de Guzman, yung kanyang alias sa casino, apparently realized he needed to level up dahil hindi niya nalusutan ang ating Blue Ribbon Committee. Hindi pa sapat ang pagsisinungaling niya para pagtakpan at maisalba niya ang kanyang sarili. So while he was in detention here at the Senate, sabi niya, nakapag-isip po ako at nagdesisyon na maglabas ng ilang nalalaman ko sa flood control project. Tama po, sabi niya, tama po si Senator Lacson na mga engineers ng DPWH ay tila naging legman o bagman na lang. Kung tatanungin niyo po ako kung sino o kanino kami naging bagman, sasagutin ko na po ngayon. Nakapag-isip? May naniniwala ba dito? Samantalong ayon nga sa impormasyon ni Senator Lacson, habang naghihiring ang Blue Ribbon noong September 1, nasa casino siya at nagsusugal. And then, lo and behold, during the TRICOM hearing, he then proceeded to take off from that remark jokingly addressed to me by Senator Marcoleta when Mr. Diskaya said that there were no senators involved. Ang sabi ni Senator Marcoleta, safe ka na. Mr. Hernandez said, sabi ni Senator Marcoleta kahapon, ligtas ka na. Hindi po ito totoo. Si Senator Jinggoy Ejercito Estrada, Senator Joel Villanueva, Yusek Robert Bernardo at D.E. Alcantara. Si Sen Jinggoy po ay nagbaba ng 355 million ngayon 2025 sa mga ilang projects sa Bulacan at ang sabi po ng boss ko dito ay 30% ang commitment dito. Mr. President, this is a blatant lie. Isang malaking kasinungalingan. I wish I did not have to borrow your time in this privileged hour to demonstrate how crooked my accuser is. I know most of you have probably witnessed the proceedings in the investigations conducted by both houses of Congress where he has so far appeared. But I beg your indulgence in defense of my name, which Mr. Hernandez conveniently dragged to take the heat off him and his cable. A desperate attempt to divert attention away from the real issue, his own involvement in ghost projects and questionable dealings. Batay sa aking mga nakalap na sinumpaang salaysay ng ilan sa mga kawani ng DPWH at mga kasamahan ni Mr. Hernandez, malinaw na sangkot siya sa mga ghost projects sa Bulacan. Pinatotohanan nito ng hindi lamang isa, kundi 3 opisyal na nagsabing siya at si RJ Dumasig, Project Engineer 1 ng Bulacan, 1st District Engineering Office, ay kapwa kasangkot sa mga proyektong ito. Pinatotohanan din ito ni na John Michael Ramos, dating OIC ng Construction Section ng Bulacan, 1st District Engineering Office, Ernesto Galang, Hepe ng Planning and Design Section ng parehong distrito, at Norberto De Leon Santos, Hepe ng Quality Assurance Section. Lahat sila ay nagbigay ng sinumpaan salaysay na nagdidiin kay Bryce Erickson Hernandez. Ang dalawang ito ay kabilang sa tiniguruan ni Senator Lacson na BGC Boys o Bulacan Group of Contractors, mga suki sa kasino. Si Bryce, also known as Marvin Santos de Guzman, ay nakapaglustay na abot ng 435 million at nakapag-launder ng perang humigit sa 1 bilyong piso. Samantalang si RJ, alias Sandro Bernardo Park, ay umabot naman sa 16.9 million ang natalo sa kasino. Ginoong Pangulo, malinaw ang paglalahad ng ating kasamang senador na ang kanilang mga gawain ay nagpapahiwatig na sila'y sangkot sa paglilinis o paglalaba ng mga nakulimbat nilang pondo ng bayan. Sa aking pagtatanong nitong nakarang Lunes sa pagdinig ng Blue Ribbon Committee, sa General Manager ng Sims Construction Trading na si Ginang Sally Santos, inamin niya na naghatid siya ng kabuwang 1 bilyong piso mula taong 2022 hanggang taong 2025 sa DPWH at iniabot yon kay Mr. Bryce Hernandez. Ayon pa kay Ginang Santos, ang halaga ng pera na kanyang dinadala na minsan ay nakalagay sa mga kahon ng noodles ay depende sa proyekto at minsan ay umabot ng 245 million pesos sa isang hatid. Kapal ng mukha mo. Sinabi rin ni Ginang Santos na si Mr. Hernandez at DPWH Engineer JP Mendoza, Chief ng DPWH Bulacan's Construction Division, ay ginagamit ang lisensya ng Sims Construction para sa mga proyekto nila. Si Mr. Mendoza, na may alias na PJ Castro Asuncion, na pinangalanan din ni Senate President Pro Tem Lacson, na kabilang sa BGC Boys, ay may kabuang 418 million na nilustay sa iba't ibang kasino at nakapag-launder ng perang mahigit 280 million pesos. Kung nakakapagpatalo ng 10 milyon si Mr. Hernandez sa kasino, hindi na rin siguro nakapagtataka kung bakit hindi siya nalalayo sa mga diskaya pagdating sa paramihan ng koleksyon ng mga sasakyan. Nauna nang inamin ni Mr. Hernandez na siya at ang kanyang asawa na isang dating rank and file employee ng GSIS ay nagmamayari na mga mamahalang sasakyan gaya ng Dodge Challenger, Toyota Supra at Lamborghini Urus Performante. Hindi ito karaniwang pag-aari ng isang empleyado ng gobyerno. At hindi pa dito nagtatapos ang listahan, Ginoong Pangulo. Nandun sa kanyang garahe, isang Ford Everest, Ford Territory, Toyota Corolla Cross, Suzuki Jimny, Mitsubishi Pajero, Honda Civic Type R Turbo, and add to this his collection of high-end motorcycles, BMW R1250GS, Yamaha T-Max, BMW C400 GT, Ducati X Diavel Nera, Honda Goldwing, Ducati Street Fighter, BMW R1300 GS, Vespa scooter, at yung kanyang asawa, meron 2 Toyota Hilux, isang Toyota Fortuner, Kia Carnival, BMD X3, Toyota Land Cruiser, Vespa Primavera, Honda, BMW. Mga kaibigan, Ginoong Pangulo, Bryce Hernandez claims these vehicles are part of a buy and sell business run by his sibling. But why are all these vehicles registered under their names? Bakit nakarehistro ang kanilang mga sasakyan sa kanilang mga pangalan kung sinasabi niya buy and sell business itong mga ginagawa nila? Gago. Magkano ba ang sahod ni Hernandez? Sapat ba ang kanyang kita o ng kanyang asawa para magkaroon ng ganitong karangyaan? Mr. President, ginagamit bilang umano'y ebidensya laban sa akin ang mga larawang kuha sa iba't ibang okasyon gaya ng birthday party. Makailang beses ko man na nakaduupang palad si DE, District Engineer Henry Alcantara, kaya ko humarap sa kahit sino at sabihin na hindi ko siya personal na kilala. Mismo ang Pangulong Marcos na nga nagsabi na mga larawan natin ng mga opisyal o public figures ay hindi sapat na batayan para patunayan at masabing talagang kilalang-kilala natin ang mga nakakasalamuha natin. To quote President Marcos, alam naman ninyo, ini-name drop lahat. Magpapakuha lang ng picture tapos sasabihin, o tingnan mo, malapit kami. Sa isang araw, 1,000 yung nagpapapicture sa akin eh. So lahat ng 1,000 na yan, malapit na ba sa akin? People have to be more careful at huwag sila masyadong gullible. Yan po ang sinabi ng ating mahal na Pangulo. Tungkol naman sinasabi niya, hinggil sa isang nagngangalang Beng Ramos na nagpakilala daw ng miyembro ng aking staff sa Senado. Malinaw na ipinakita niyang text exchanges sa kanyang cellphone na nangyari ang kanilang pag-uusap tungkol umano sa isang pagdideliver ng pera noong December 22, 2022. Mr. President, 6 na buwan pa lang ako mula nung mahalal muli sa Senado, wala akong kinalaman or anuman partisipasyon sa budget deliberations para sa 2022 budget. Mag-iimbento ka lang, sablay pa. Mr. President, there is no one among my staff named Beng Ramos. Wala akong staff o consultant na Beng Ramos. No such person has ever been employed, much less authorized to use my name or act on my behalf. Mr. President, let me just share that even before the resumption of the 3rd hearing of the Blue Ribbon Committee last Monday, I already received warnings from various quarters. I was told that if I continue to actively participate in the investigation on ghost flood control projects, I will become an easy target. An easy target, they say, because of accusations hurled against me in the past relating to the PDAF issue. Mr. President, I told these people, warning me, and as I have stated at the start of the Senate investigation into these public works anomalies, hinarap ko po sa hukuman lahat ng kasong inihain laban sa akin. Hindi lang ako sumuko ng kusa nung ako'y pinaratangan at ikinulong. Ako po'y nakipaglaban ng patas sa proseso ng batas at hustisya at naghintay ng matagal na panahon sa pagdating ng hatol sa mga kasong ito. Hindi po ako nawala. Hindi po ako nagtago. Hindi po ako tumakas o nagbintang ng mga taong walang kinalaman sa mga akusasyon laban sa akin. At great cost to my family, my freedom, and my political career, I have acquitted myself of the grave charge of plunder before the bar of justice and the legal system we are all sworn to uphold. Should that sad and dark chapter of my life be a reason for me now to do nothing, say nothing, and just keep quiet when my job as an elected senator of this country calls on me to take a stand and expose these people? No, Mr. President, I cannot and will not shirk from my sworn duty to ferret out the truth. I will not be silenced when I know I can contribute something to the task at hand. I will continue to do my best to be worthy of the support that I was generously given by the people who elected me back to this Senate. Tama nga nagbigay ng babala sa akin. I am an easy target. Kaya isang araw pagkatapos ko sabihin na dapat i-contempt ang sinungaling na si Bryce Hernandez, tumakbo siya sa sa mababang kapulungan para ilako ang isang kwento na sa tingin niya ay madaling paniwalaan. Hindi lang yun. Paulit-ulit niyang sinasabi ang akala niya safe siya. Walang galang na. Halatang galing pa sa isang script na binabasa. Marami sa akin ang nagsasabi, huwag kong patulan ang isang tao na sa sobrang kapal na muka, nakuha pang magkasino habang iniimbestigahan ang mga krimen niya dito sa Senado. Mr. President, kung nakuha kong humarap sa kaso at tanggapin ang kaparusahan ng isang krimen kung saan ako'y napawalang sala, lalong kayang-kaya kong harapin ang isang Bryce Hernandez na lantarang sinungaling at magnanakaw. Ang sabi nga ni Senator Marcoleta, safe ka na. With due respect to our colleague, hindi po, Senator Marcoleta. Hindi ikaw, hindi ako, at lalong hindi safe ang taong bayan. Hanggang may mga Bryce Hernandez na engineer ng kasinungalingan at pandarambong ay hindi tayo safe. Hanggang may mga ghost projects sa DPWH at iba pang ahensya ng gobyerno, hindi safe ang pera ng bawat Pilipino na nagbabayad ng buwis. Isipin na lang ninyo, takot na takot ang mga kababayan natin basta BAR na ang kaharap habang may mga walang konsensyang tao na isinusugal lamang sa kasino ang pera ng pinaghirapan at binuno nilang ibayad. Hanggang may mga tao na nagbabayad, nananakot at ngayon ay pilit na nililis ang kwento, ay hindi tayo safe. Mr. President, my dear colleagues, if my opponents think that they can weaponize me, that they can weaponize my past to stop me from investigating, nagkakamali sila. If my critics think that funding a social media campaign against me will prevent me from going after liars, thieves, and crooks, hindi nila ako kilala. I have been bashed and now targeted for the way I go after lying witnesses. Totoo, brusko ako magtanong at minsan ay naninigaw pa. But I make no apologies. Subukan ninyong humarap sa mga taong sinungaling at mayabang pa. Mga witness na halatang halata na niloloko ka. Mga opisyal na gobyerno na nagmamalinis at nagtuturoan. Tingnan natin kung hindi kayo magalit. Mr. President, my brother, Senator J.V. Ejercito, is known as the good one. Okay lang po yan, dahil kapatid ko naman siya. But let me be known as the other Strada who went after the bad ones. I will expose and relentlessly pursue the bad ones regardless of the risk, and notwithstanding the cost. Hindi ako natatakot at lalong hindi ko papayagan na gamitin ng masasamang tao ang nakaraan ko para lamang patahimikin ako. I have been jailed. I have been vilified, crucified, and publicly humiliated. But I will never allow the likes of Bryce Hernandez to turn the tables on me. Kayo ang nasasakdal sa mata ng taong bayan, hindi ako. Mr. President, I vow never to let the masterminds and engineers of this massive defrauding of the Filipino people to silence me. Hindi pa ako tapos at lalong hindi ko kayo uurungan. Ginoong Pangulo, maraming salamat po at mabuhay po kayong lahat.
Thank you, Senator Jingo Estrada. Majority Leader. Senator Bato de la Rosa is seeking the floor. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. The last time I know that Bryce Hernandez was cited in contempt and was issued a commitment order to the USAA detention room. May I know the whereabouts of that Bryce Hernandez right now, Mr. President?
Well, according to the newspaper accounts that I've read, I think they had our Senate President and the Speaker of the House had an agreement to commit Bryce Hernandez at the PNP Custodial Center at Camp Crame.
May
If I'm
I
correct, Mr.
clarify?
President.
May I clarify that quite accurate answer by Senator Estrada for the information of Senator De La Rosa and the public. Yesterday, after the hearing, or during the hearings that they were conducting in the House, Speaker Martin Romualdez called me and said that their committee was allowing Mr. Hernandez to remain in the House and in the House of Representatives, and that he was requesting that he not be returned back to the Senate because of some fear for his life. That is according to him. So what I did was I asked the Speaker what he plans, because we cannot allow that. I said he is under our custody and therefore he is in contempt in the Senate. Pag iniwan namin sa inyo, sabi ko, ibig sabihin niyan para namin pinawalan.
Correct,
Kaya
Mr.
hindi
President.
ako pumayag. Correct. So
Correct.
what I did was I asked the Sergeant at Arms to bring Mr. Hernandez to the PNP Custodial Center, and that is where he is now. Still under the care of the OSAA.
Mr. President, is there a possibility that we can commit him back here in the Senate?
Of course, during the he is still under custody of the Senate, and therefore
No, let him be jailed here, Mr. President.
indirects. We had to give in to the request of the Speaker that he be not returned here as.
Yeah, but Mr. President, I think as we speak, the jurisdiction of the person of Bryce Hernandez belongs to the Senate.
Yes, and that's why we can call him here anytime we need him.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah. Senator Alan Cayetano is recognized.
Sir President, on
The
that
Minority
point,
Leader is recognized.
may I know, Sir President, will that be the new rule? Because under the present rule, kung sino may jurisdiction, siya'y magde-decide. So for example, siya'y incarcerated under RTC. So magpapaalam tayo sa RTC kung pwede nating hiramin. So nagpaalam sila sa atin kung pwede natin nila hiramin yung witness. Kasi insulto po sa atin yung sabihin may mangyayari sa kanya dito. Unang-una po, 24 tayo na lahat independent. Sinabi na rin po ng Senate President na ginagalang natin na independent ang Senate. Never naman po nagkaroon ng problema dito. ZTE, Pangulo pa. I remember dito, munti kaming maghablutan if Senator Lacson remembers with former Congressman Andaya with our other witnesses with Secretary Neri. Di ba, parang may PSG pa atang pumasok, whatever, no? But we were able to handle it well and come to a conclusion. My point, Mr. President, is this. What if the reverse happens now? What if we borrow a witness from the House? Is that the new rule now? Na PNP custodial na? Or makikiusap tayo pabalik sa House? Because I don't think we should change rules without doing it either in caucus as a group. But I see the wisdom, Mr. President, of your immediate action. I'm not questioning your immediate action, Mr. President. I'm just asking, moving forward, shouldn't we keep the old rule na kung sino may custody, yun ang mag-keep nung custody niya, Mr. President?
Yes, and that is the decision that the presiding officer made last night. Indeed, you are right. He is in our custody. Now, what we did yesterday was what we call parliamentary courtesy in accepting the proposal that he be not returned here but still under the care of the Senate. Now, in the issue of, let's say, keeping it here or the previous tradition that the Senate may cite in contempt anyone and keep him here. We have also placed a witness to Muntinlupa, if you will recall.
Yes.
We also even sent somebody to the Pasay City Jail. So I don't see any reason why we cannot commit this particular fellow to the PNP Custodial Center. But then again, I will leave it to the decision of the body. That was my decision last night. But if there is something that is a new decision that you would want, I will throw it to the body.
Mr. President, I respect your decision, and I will tell you if I don't. I have always been honest and told you what I thought, no? And I do agree that certain decisions have to be made right away by the Senate President at that point. And you do not want a constitutional crisis or ayaw natin mag-agawan ng witness sa gitna ng and perception is important. Kung nakipag-agawan po kayo o tayo kagabi, it would appear na baka may katotohanan yung sinabi about senators, kaya pinipilit natin dito. The problem is, meron din kasing perception tuloy that by not having him back here, baka nga totoong ini-impluwensya natin. But from my point of view, from my limited point of view at this point in time, when he was here, no one was talking to him from the Senate panel. But according to Senator Marcoleta, he got information that the witness was being asked to single out senators there. So only God knows if Senator Jinggoy is the good one or the better one. Only God knows the totality of accusations against Brother Joel. But what do I know? I know na si Brother Joel, 2016 pa lang, 2017, when I left the Senate to go to the DFA, speech na ng speech to tungkol sa flood control eh. Even President Duterte had a speech na ang problema ko, DPWH. And never tinago ni ni President Duterte. Nandun yun po, nasa Facebook, nasa TikTok na sinasabi niya, baka may ghost project pa. 2022, to be fair to our new chairman of the committee on the Blue Ribbon Committee and the Senate President, you weren't here at that time, but I'm sure you monitored it. Tinuturo naman ni Secretary Bonoan kung bakit nagkaganon yung budget at ba't suddenly lumaki na naman yung budget. No? So the point is, Mr. President, perception here matters. Tomorrow ba or the next day, we will announce, I think Malacanang has already said they will announce a independent commission. The minority has not discussed whether we will support it or not. Personally, I support it. But just like Ferdinand Marcos Sr., he always asked the opposition for one member. Kasi kahit gaano ka-independent ang members niyan, kahit anong integrity niyan, tao pa rin yan eh. Pwedeng may agenda pa rin yung mga yan. So we will discuss in the minority. For example, kung maglalagay sila doon, do they commit? Hindi sila tatakbo for national office in 2028. Baka may integrity nga. Gagamitin naman yung commission to run in 2028. Will they sign also that wala silang conflict of interest? Because some of the credible people now being interviewed are part of conglomerates and are working for oligarchs that also have their interests, maybe not in infrastructure, but on other things. So ang point ko, Mr. President, na-disrupt yung sistema ng corruption, which is good. Pero ang ginagawa pabalik ng mga corrupt, dinidisrupt din tayo eh. Dinidisrupt din yung mga nag-imbestiga. That's why yesterday, I'm happy we have a consensus, the majority and minority, that we should continue our hearings. Iba yung sa House. I mean, wala tayong pakialam doon. If we agree with it or not, nasa sa kanila yon. Kung nag-iimbento sila o totoo sinasabi nila, yan ang sistema eh. Democracy is messy. Tayo po dito, respetuhin din nila. Kung may problema sa miyembro natin, 24 naman po tayo. We call out each other and we find a way to still have coffee or merienda together in the lounge. Sometimes not for 1 week because we're upset at each other. But that's the system, Mr. President. So again, Mr. President, I support, I acknowledge your right and the wisdom of deciding that last night. But personally, I don't know my companions in the minority. Personally, labanan ngayon ng perception. Tutuloy ba yung mga hearings? Sino ba ipapatawag? Kakampihan ba natin mga senador? Porque kapwa senador yon. Pwede ba magsalita yung iba? Kasi dati siyang DPWH. Kasi dati siyang speaker. Dati siyang all of this will be there, Mr. President. No? If only we could have the speeches of Senator Lacson in like yesterday in such an orderly manner. But hindi po ganun pagka pag nandiyan na yung mga witnesses eh. Ang katotohanan po nun, kung 10 yung witness, unless we have 1 witness at a time, pero kung 10 ang witness, 10 ang senador, you cannot stop any senator kung sino tatanungin niya doon, Mr. President, di ba? So yun po ang problema lang, that since this involves high-ranking people and the PNP is not under the Senate, it creates another perception who controls who. But thank you for informing us that USAA is there and they're looking at that. No? But Mr. President, sa akin lang po, kung babaguhin yung rule, so I acknowledge you're not changing the rule. You made a decision and is throwing it back. But kung babaguhin yung rule, I think we have to discuss it thoroughly. Because nga, masyadong mabigat yung accusation nung DE ba? Assistant DE na takot siya dito or whatever. Kasi Mr. President, ang dami na natin naging witness dito kung sino-sino inaccuse kapwa senador eh. Never naman. I think when I was Blue Ribbon Chair, I just remember si June Losada natulog pa sa couch sa opisina ko. Sa baba, I think I only visited 1 witness once. Otherwise, hindi eh. So, anyway, Mr. President, thank you for your patience in hearing us out. But may I defer to the chairperson now of the committee.
Yes, before Senator Ping Lacson is recognized.
Thank you,
before
Mr. President. With all due respect to the distinguished minority leader, there's what we call legal custody and physical custody. Lawyers know this, Mr. President. As long as the Senate retains the legal custody over the person of Bryce Hernandez, the physical custody is of no moment, Mr. President. Whenever we need him, we'll just direct the PNP Custodial Center to deliver him here. And if the House of Representatives will be needing him, they will have to ask our permission. They cannot go direct to the PNP and tell them to bring the person of Bryce Hernandez to the House of Representatives. And this is not a new rule, Mr. President. We have committed Alvin Balag to the Pasay City Jail. We have committed persons cited in contempt by the Senate in other detention centers. We're not changing the rules, Mr. President. So that's my manifestation, Mr. President.
Yeah. Minority Leader, go ahead.
Tama po si Senator Lacson na may legal at physical custody. Pero it's always the committee and the Senate who decides the physical custody. So in the case na sinabi yung Pasay City Jail, it was the decision of Senator Dick Gordon and the committee na doon ilagay. In fact, ayaw nila eh. Yung mga kinulong doon, gusto nga dito. In this case, it is the witness, Assistant DE, saying, wag niyo akong dalhin doon, tapos siya yung nasunod. So the issue here is not only the physical and the legal custody. The issue also is the integrity of the Senate, the perception that if we don't have him here, de lahat na lang ng witnesses sasabihin, wag tayo doon. Eh paano kung wala rin silang tiwala sa PNP? Wag sa PNP, lilipat natin sa NBI. The peculiarity of this case is that it wasn't the House, nor the Senate, nor the PNP, nor the intelligence community making the request. It was the witness.
I beg to disagree. It was Speaker Martin Romualdez who was asking me.
Yes,
I
Mr.
did not
President.
talk to the witness. I did not hear him say. It was only Speaker
Mr. President,
Martin.
it was live in the hearing. Bago siya magsalita, sinabi niya, pwede ba, mga congressman, wag niyo akong ibabalik sa Senate dahil may mga, hindi ako safe, may mga senador doon. Ang sabi ng congressman, magsalita ka muna. Meaning condition pa nila, magsalita ka, saka na. That's why I think, in fairness to the speaker, no? I don't think this is his personal
I don't think
wishes.
he was also present.
Yeah,
in much the same
yes,
way
yes.
as I did not hear that
Let me clarify
particular-
that, Mr. President. I
Yes.
don't think it's his personal request. I think he was conveying it as speaker to this chamber in the same manner na pag may request kami sa House, either the majority leader or the Senate President will request it. But hindi naman po alam ng tao na ang request ay formal eh. And again, hindi ko na question yung kagabi. But all over the news and live, yun po ang lumalabas. Yung witness ang nagdidikta na wag niyo ako ibalik sa Senate. Ano ba experience niya dito? Ano ba ang ginawa natin sa kanya? Di ba?
Wag siyang ibalik sa Senate for detention. Pero
Yes.
we will never allow that he not be brought here back when
Agree,
he
Mr.
needed.
President,
As a
but
matter of fact, if you move for for him to be returned here, we will return him right away.
Agree, Mr. President. Ang problema kasi gives the impression na pag dito, mapre-pressure or may kakausap sa kanya eh. Yun yung impression ngayon eh. Which I think is unfair to all of us. I'd love for him to name senators here para ma-confront natin na siya. But anyway, Mr. President, I
Yes,
think we
okay.
vented the, I don't know the pleasure of my colleagues. So may I yield to
Okay.
Senator
So
Marcoleta?
just to ventilate more on what the minority leader was saying, let me just place on record so that the public will know. You know, we have Section 6C of the rules of the Blue Ribbon Committee. It's very clear. It says a witness cited in contempt may be ordered to be detained in such place as may be designated by the committee alone or with the concurrence of the Senate President. Or either.
Just on the rules. We've done this already in the past, and we have not deviated from the rules. But if our good colleagues would like to discuss this further, maybe in a caucus, after the speeches, we could have a caucus and discuss, Mr. President, if we want him back here or we would keep him in the PNP Custodial Center.
Yes,
So that we can
we'll-
continue with the debates.
We'll continue with that. But before I recognize Senator De La Rosa or Senator Marcoleta, again, for the concern of the minority leader, the People's or the Independent Commission that is being created, we leave it up to the executive. That's their problem. But in the Senate, I have filed since August 16 the Independent People's Commission. Perhaps your concern can be addressed in our own bill. I hope very soon we will be conducting a hearing of the matter.
Yeah, both, Mr. President, because if you remember, during the time of Ferdinand Marcos Sr., there were independent commissions. And the opposition, and we are the new opposition here,
Yes.
advocated that. But I am studying your bill, and I thank you for filing it, Mr.
We
President.
can include that. We can include that. And this bill will be a lot better than the executive order because the executive order can be shut down by the Supreme Court. But especially Section 4 of the proposed executive order. But in Section 4 of the Independent People's Commission, we are practically addressing that already right there in the bill. All right, thank you. Senator, are you giving way? Senator
you, Mr.
Marcoleta is
President.
recognized.
May I have the permission, Mr. President, to read your letter addressed to the House Infrastructure Committee dated September 8, 2025. This is to formally approve your request for Mr. Bryce Hernandez to attend your hearing tomorrow, September 9, 2025, 9 a.m. at the People's Center House of Representatives. We expect that he be returned safely immediately after the said hearing to the Senate. So this is very categorical, Mr. President. Their request that he be called for hearing in the House of Representatives was conditioned upon his safely return to the Senate. There is no need for a motion, Mr. President. I was still the chairman of Blue Ribbon Committee at the time, and it was very clear that we committed him to the custody of our Sergeant-at-Arms. Not in Quezon City, not anybody else. And so, as already asked by Senator Alan, we are not supposed to change the rule. I move, Mr. President, that he be back immediately to the custody of the Senate, not only because this is the condition that you gave them, but more importantly, in order to erase the perception that if he is here in the Senate, he is not safe. I will reject the idea that if he returns in the Senate, manganganib ang buhay niya. It is as if that we are giving credence to his statement, which I believe is not true, Mr. President.
Mr. President.
Majority Leader?
Yes, Mr. President, with due respect to our colleague, Senator Marcoleta, there was an intervention. Actually, he was supposed to come back to the Senate, but the Speaker of the House had intervened and asked if he can be kept in the House, which you did not agree. And
Yes.
you said that we will put him in the PNP Custodial Center under the custody still of OSA and the Senate.
Legal custody of the
Yes.
Senate.
So
Still.
when he wrote the letter, Your Honor, wala pang intervention. So walang kasalanan dyan si Senate President. He was going to bring him in, but we are not bending any rule.
But
because
the
the Senate
request-
President already has said the rule.
Mr.
which
President,
allows
the
us-
request of the Speaker of the House of Representatives is inconsequential here. Legal or otherwise, the custody must be here. They are only asking us to lend him to their committee. The legal custody is still acquired by the Senate. And then the committee was the one who ordered him to be legally detained in the custody of the Senate. The committee was the one who did that, not the Speaker of the House of Representatives. He could request that, but we are sorry to deny that
Maybe,
because
Mr.
the
President,
legal custody,
Mr. President, yeah.
legal or physical, is still with the Senate.
Mr. President, I think the points raised by Senator Marcoleta are valid. I think at that time, the witness had no fear of his life, but now he has fear of his life. We will guarantee that he's safe, even if he's in the Senate. No, that's why we're guaranteeing his safety if he's here in the Senate. But let's also be transparent, Your Honor, because I think the question there is, kung meron bang mag-iimpluwensya pa sa kanya.
That
Diba?
was the point of the
Later on.
minority leader.
Correct.
There might be a perception that if he is here, he might be influenced by someone. That is also
Correct, Mr. President.
the minority leader made mention of that.
And that's why I believe the Senate President made that decision to keep him in a neutral area, which is the PNP Custodial Center. But then again, Mr. President, we're a deliberative body. If the body would wish him back here to the Senate, then we can discuss it further.
Mr. President, just a quick intervention.
Go ahead, Senator Lacson.
I would like to echo the earlier manifestation of the Majority Leader. Yung letter po ng ating Senate President was valid before the intervening event occurred. So we cannot invoke the letter of the Senate President kasi wala pa yung intervening event na mayroong request from the Speaker of the House. And the Senate President, using his own wisdom, granted the request, but we have not given the legal custody of Bryce Hernandez to the House. We still maintain or retain the legal custody over his person. And as I mentioned earlier, kung kailangan siya ng House, they will have to seek permission from the Senate President.
Again, yes, they are not in
Thank you,
custody.
Mr. President.
Yes,
Mr.
Senator De La Rosa,
President.
yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President,
You know,
Let Senator De La Rosa speak first. Go ahead.
We have a very sad experience, Mr. President. Because if the reason why the Speaker requested for Bryce Hernandez to be detained not in the Senate because for fear of being influenced by anybody or any member of the Senate, alam mo, Mr. President, Colonel Grijaldo nag-testify dito sa ating committee about the wrongdoings of the members of the Quadcom. Nagsumbong siya dito, Mr. President. And after he read his statement, sabi niya sa amin, Sir, can I be protected by the Senate? Dahil alam kong pinag-initan ako ngayon ng House. So, I share the information to the committee and even to the leadership of the Senate. But the following day, or the days after, he was required to appear before the Quadcom and he was cited in contempt. Nang siya ay na-contempt, kinulong siya doon. At nang kinulong siya doon, look what happened. Binubombard siya doon, pinupuntahan siya doon at sinasabihan na huwag yung gusto namin na mangyari, gawin mo na para makalabas ka na dito sa kulungan. Hindi nag-give in si Colonel Grijaldo. Kinulong siya hanggang natapos ang 19th Congress. So, Mr. President, sila ay takot sa kanilang ginagawa mismo. Hindi po yan gagawain ng Senado na mag-impluensya ng resource person. Never pa nangyari yan na mayroong pumunta doon sa baba, tinakot yung nakakulong contempt, cited in contempt na resource person. Gawain nila yan sa House of Representatives. Ginawa nila kay Colonel Grijaldo. Kaya huwag tayong basta-basta bumigay sa kanila dahil we should be independent from them, Mr. President. Hindi natin sila dapat sundin kung anong kagustuhan nila. We have to stand on our own. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President,
Yes, Senator Marcoleta.
noong pong September 8, 2025, ako pa rin po ang chairman ng Blue Ribbon Committee. Ang Blue Ribbon Committee po ang nag-approve ng legal and physical custody nung ma-cite in contempt si Bryce Hernandez. Nung makiusap po ang Speaker ng House of Representatives sa inyo, di po ba dapat nakonsulta naman ang chairman ng Blue Ribbon Committee? Dahil kami po, ginawa namin yon through the collective wisdom of the committee. Hindi po namin gawa-gawa yon. Kaya lang namin siya sinite in contempt sapagkat halos ipamukha na namin sa kanya ang mga datos. Ibinigay ko na sa kanya ang lahat ng ipinanalo at ipinatalo niya sa kasino. Pati yung ginagamit niyang dalawang ID na galing sa LTO, ayaw pa niyang aminin. Ganun po yung nangyari. Gusto lamang namin siyang turuan ng leksyon para sa ganun kahit papano baka maisip niya na dapat sana mapahiya na siya sa sarili niya kung meron pa siyang kahihiyan. Dapat naman sana nung siya'y mag-request ngayon sa House of Representatives, hindi po sa kanya dapat manggaling ang request kung saan siya magko-custody. Ang custody po yung natapos na. Nagsalita na po ang Blue Ribbon Committee. Bakit po hindi man lang nakonsulta ang Blue Ribbon Committee? Bakit kailangan po ang House of Representatives Speaker ang mananaig sa kanyang request? Kalabisan na po ba ang Blue Ribbon Committee noong araw na yon, Mr. President?
May I be clarified on what date that transpired? Yesterday or
September 8 po.
Monday?
Yes, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Monday was the hearing here in the Senate. Monday, he was cited in contempt.
Yeah.
But the hearing in the House was on Tuesday, September 9.
Yes,
And
Tuesday.
as,
So in the evening,
Opo.
when yesterday, no. So in the evening, when the speaker called me, Senator Marcoleta was no longer chairman of the Blue Ribbon.
No more, because we had already elected
It was
Senator
already Senator Lacson.
Lacson, yes.
Ibig bang sabihin po, Mr. President, nawawala ng visa yung ginawa namin?
Hindi. He's
Ganun po pala.
He's still in legal custody.
Dapat po,
Therefore,
igagalang po kung ano yung aming iniwan.
Yes, you're,
Doon tayo
ang-
magsisimula.
Ang iniwan ninyo, cite in contempt.
Hindi
And
po.
legal
Nasa
custody
legal
of the
custody
Senate.
na po ng,
He was
ng
still
House.
under the legal
ng,
custody of
ng
the Senate.
Mr. President, may I ask for a minute suspension?
Session suspended.
Yes, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
The status is we were in debate about the status of the witness, Bryce Hernandez. Hernandez, Mr. President. So I think in consensus, would you like to make the motion, Mr. President, on where to? Yes, Mr. President. Therefore, yes. Can we recognize Senator?
Senator Jinggoy
Can I just make a
Estrada is
motion,
recognized.
Mr. President, Majority Leader? I move that we commit Bryce Erickson Hernandez to the Pasay City Jail, Mr. President.
I second the motion of the good
Any objection?
gentleman.
Chair hears none. And the chairman of the Blue Ribbon concurs. Hearing no objection, the Bryce Hernandez is hereby
Mr. President,
the-
if I may, but just to put on record that it's with the understanding that the Senate retains its jurisdiction over that person, Mr. President. Just
Of
to put that
course.
on record, Mr. President.
Of
Thank
course, it has never been the opposite. He was always under our legal custody. So the motion is to transfer that particular person to the Pasay City Jail. Any objection? Chair hears none. Motion is approved. The Sergeant at Arms is hereby directed to transfer Bryce Hernandez to the Pasay City Jail as soon as possible.
Just a manifestation, if I may, Mr.
Senator
President.
Estrada,
Mr. President,
Jinggoy
I
Estrada
think
is
we have
recognized.
to ask the OSA to be strict in implementing the rules with regard to the visitation hours of a prisoner, Mr. President. No visitors allowed, only
Lawyers.
immediate members of the family, lawyers, priests, etc., etc. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, the Sergeant at Arms is hereby directed and make a list of those who will visit him.
Yes, we'd like to
Thank you.
recognize Senator Marcoleta, Mr. President.
Senator Marcoleta is recognized.
Mr. President, meron po pong isang isyong naiwan dahil noong September 8 po, while I was still the chairman of the Blue Ribbon, napagkaisahan po ng komite dahil sa noong September 1, kung maalala po natin, as chairman, I floated the idea na para makatulong po kung merong gustong lumabas na doon sa 15 na kasama sa pagdinig, makakatulong po sila ma-identify po lahat ng mga kasabwat sa anomalyang paglalatag ng mga proyektong pang flood control. Pinload po natin yung idea na kung gusto ninyo, ay kinakausap na po namin ng DOJ, you may be provided by provisional immunity. Of course, pag-aaralan natin kung qualified kayo. Sa nakikita naman namin, basta hindi kayo most guilty at napakarami pong ibang mga requisites doon, tinignan po natin mabuti. After 1 week, Mr. President, dalawa pong mag-asawa, yung Diskaya, ang naggawa po ng sworn statement. Pero bago po niya nila gawin yon, ay siniguro ko po na talagang sila ay voluntary na gagawa ng sworn statement. Kaya yung pong kanilang emissary, sinabi ko, kailangan sumulat muna sila na talagang gusto nilang magsalita at walang halong pagsisinungaling ito. Yun ang option na gusto nila at narinig nila yung aming pinupload na option na sila'y lumabas bilang isang witness, a state witness. Yun nga po ang nangyari, Mr. President, hanggang sa sila nga ay tumestigo sa komite, dala-dala at binasa nila yung kanilang sworn statement. Nang dahil po doon, Mr. President, ay gumawa kami ng sulat sa ating kalihim ng Department of Justice. At yun nga po ay September 8, 2025. Gusto ko po malaman, Mr. President, ano po yung status noon sapagkat kayo na po ang pumalit na Senate President by that time.
Yes, the proposal and your intention is indeed, yes, it's laudable. We may be able to get state witnesses there, no? But that September 8, evening of September 8, when I was informed about it, what I did was to decide that the issue be referred to the Blue Ribbon Committee. especially knowing that there will be a new composition the following day. That was quite late at night when I received the notice.
Mr. President, if that happens, parang ang amin pong pinag-usapan noon while I was still the chairman of the Blue Ribbon Committee, parang nawalan po ng saysay. Ang mangyayari po noon, with all due respect, baka po ma-compromise o mawala po yung integrity ng proceedings natin. The integrity of the inquiry is very, very important here. Sila po ay pinangakuan namin sapagkat nagpapasaklolo sila, alam nila na may panganib ang buhay, hindi lamang sa kanilang mag-asawa kung hindi yung pamilya nila. Kaya nakita po namin ang urgency. Mr. President, September 10 na po ngayon. Kung sakali pong totoo na nanganganib ang buhay nila, yun pong ipinangako namin na immunity sa kanila na makakatulong po. At yun naman po ang naging courage sa kanila para lumabas into the open and tell all. Nakita naman po ninyo, talagang initially nakapagsalita sila nung inaakala nilang kasangkot po, allegedly, sa mga maanumalyang paglalatag ng flood control projects. Kaya po, ang tanong ko ngayon, kailangan po bang pagpasyahan ng bagong liderato ng Blue Ribbon ang isang bagay na amin na pong naaproba nung kami po ay nandun pa sa Blue Ribbon?
Mr. President?
Majority Leader.
Yes, Mr. President. May I ask for a minute suspension so that both leaders, the former leader of the Blue Ribbon and the newly elected leader of the Blue Ribbon Committee can discuss for just a few minutes this operational matter amongst themselves. May I ask for a minute suspension?
Session is suspended.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. The good gentleman from Nueva Ecija and Pampanga, Senator Marcoleta, has graciously allowed us to discuss first other matters. Mr. President,
Yes, you may proceed.
yes, thank you, Mr. President. I move that we consider proposed Senate Resolution number, wait, may I ask for a minute suspension, Mr. President? Do you want it referred, your speech to the Blue Ribbon Committee? Mr. President, I believe that the gentleman from San Juan would like his speech referred, and I move to do so to the Blue Ribbon Committee, Mr. President.
Any objection? Chair hears none. The privileged speech of the gentleman is referred to the committee, to the Blue Ribbon Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I move to consider, Mr. President, with the permission of the body, proposed Senate Resolution number 90, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolution number 100, 109, 118, and 121. This is the resolution commending the awardees of the Metrobank Foundation, outstanding Filipinos. So move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Chair hears none. Consideration of proposed Senate Resolution number 90, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolutions 100, 109, 118, and 121 is now in order.
Mr. President, first to give his...
May we ask the
sponsor-
Secretary first to read the title of the measure?
My apologies, Mr. President.
Resolution honoring and commending the awardees of Metrobank Foundation, outstanding Filipinos of 2025.
Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move to recognize the distinguished gentleman from San Juan, no other than Senator Jinggoy Estrada, for his sponsorship of the measure.
Senator Jinggoy Estrada is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ginong Pangulo, mula po nung ako po yung naging senador ng 2004, taon-taon pong binibigyan ng pagkilala ng Senado ang mga natatanging lingkod bayan na pinarangalan ng Metrobank Foundation. Continuing the annual tradition of the Philippine Senate honoring exemplary public servants, I join my esteemed colleagues in sponsoring this resolution, commending and congratulating the 2025 Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipino Awardees. Sa panahon na headline ng katawilaan, kasinungalingan at paglustay sa kaban ng bayan, kayo po ay mga buhay na patunay na higit na nakakarami pa rin ang mga kawani ng pamahalaan na tapat na nagsiservisyo, may malasakit sa taong bayan, at katuwang sa pagunlad ng bansa. You all stand as beacons of hope and role models for honest and dedicated public service. Nakakatuwang isipin na ang naibigay na number sa ating isinumiting resolusyon ay 100 na tila nagbibigay ng perfect score at kudos sa ating mga awardees. My sincere congratulations to our 10 distinguished teachers, soldiers, and police officers who have all demonstrated excellence, competence, and integrity throughout their professional career in the academe, peace and order, and security sectors. Master Teacher Noel Sadinas of Casibu, Nueva Vizcaya, Engineer Armando Perfecto Molin of Los Baños, Laguna, Dr. Maylene Uy of Iligan City, Lanao del Norte, Dr. Angelo Mark Walag of Cagayan de Oro City, Colonel Joey Fontiveros, AFP Cyber Command, Philippine Army, Colonel Ricky Canatoy, 4th Infantry Division, Philippine Army, Cagayan de Oro City, Underwater Operationsman First Class Andrew Anthony Toralio of the Philippine Navy, Cavite City, Police Colonel Frederick Obar, PNP Directorate for Plans, Police Major Elmira Relox, PNP Regional Office, Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, and finally, Police Master Sergeant Ivan Velasco of the PNP Police Security and Protection Group. As your former chairperson of the Senate Committee on National Defense and Security, Peace, Unification, and Reconciliation, I would like to personally give special citation to our outstanding soldiers. Tanggapin po ninyo ang taus-pusong pasasalamat at pagsaludo sa inyong sakripisyo, kabayanihan at dedikasyon sa tungkulin sa gitna ng napakaraming hamon at banta sa ating kapayapaan at soberanya. Rest assured that this representation will continue to author and push for the enactment of measures that will advance the welfare of our soldiers and veterans and adequately support the needs of the defense establishment. Thank you, Mr. President, and my dear colleagues.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I believe that you will just insert into the records your sponsorship speech. Is that correct?
Yes, I will just insert into the records the copy of my sponsorship speech.
Thank you, Mr. President. Therefore, we move to the third sponsor, no other than our distinguished former Majority Floor Leader, Senator Joel Villanueva, our Deputy Minority Leader.
Senator Joel Villanueva is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Majority Leader. Mr. President, esteemed colleagues, it is with immense honor and pleasure that this representation co-sponsored the resolutions recognizing and congratulating the 2025 Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos, being the author of Senate Resolution number 109. Since its founding in 1985, the Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos has celebrated 725 outstanding teachers, soldiers, and police officers who have dedicated their lives to the service of the Filipino nation. In fact, in 2016, Mr. President, this representation had the privilege and blessed of being chosen as the chairperson of the final Board of Judges in the search for outstanding teachers. In recognition of the exceptional contributions of our outstanding fellow Filipinos to their communities, the Senate annually honors the Metrobank Foundation awardees. Kaya Ginoong Pangulo, ngayong hapon pong ito, kasama po natin ang 10 sa mga kababayan natin na kumakatawan sa tema ng Metrobank Foundation na Beyond Excellence. Time and again, we have mentioned in this great hall that the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. This perfectly captures the intention of this award, Mr. President. Our awardees this afternoon went above and beyond the call of duty. Ang mga pararangalan po natin ngayong taon ay tumugon sa tawag ng tungkulin at nag-apply sa kanilang serbisyo para sa kapwa at sa bayan ng buong husay at buong tapang. Hayaan yung kilalanin ko ang bawat isa sa kanila, Ginoong Pangulo. Sila po ay sina Noel Sadinas, Nueva Vizcaya's Champion for Global Citizenship Education, Master Teacher 2, Macalong Elementary School, Nueva Vizcaya. Armando Perfecto Molin, Los Baños Mentor for Future Leaders, Secondary Teacher, South Hill School, Incorporated, Los Baños, Laguna. Maylene M. Uy, Lanao del Norte's Trailblazing Chemist for Nation Building. Professor 6, Mindanao State University, Ilagan Institute of Technology, Lanao del Norte. Angelo Mark Walag, PhD, Cagayan de Oro's Pioneer for Experiential Learning. Professor 6, University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines, Misamis Oriental. Underwater Operationsman First Class, Andrew Anthony Turalio, PN, Philippine Navy's specialist defender against violent extremism. Number 6 is Colonel Ricky Canatoy, PA, Misamis Oriental's Vanguard of Peace and Development. Colonel Joey Fontiveros, PA, AFP's Cyber Ranger in Defense and Security. Police Master Sergeant Ivan Velasco, PNP's Crusader for Environmental Protection. Police Major Elmira Relox, Tawi-Tawi's Torchbearer of Healing and Compassion. And last but not the least, Mr. President, Police Colonel Frederick Obar, Ilocos Norte's Police Innovator of Transformative Reforms. Mr. President, these 10 individuals embody the very best of who we are as a people. True to this year's theme, Beyond Excellence, they are extraordinary examples of progress, integrity, and selflessness, dedicating their lives to uplifting others and making a lasting difference in their communities. Sa pangwakas, Ginoong Pangulo, I'd like to thank the Metrobank Foundation, headed by its president, our good friend, dear friend, Mr. Philip D., for their unwavering commitment to honoring excellence and promoting a higher standard of public service. Muli, sa inyo pong lahat, maraming salamat at mabuhay po ang 2025 Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos. Maraming salamat, Ginoong Pangulo.
Maraming salamat, Mr. President. Mr. President, we'd also like to insert my, just to hasten the proceedings, Mr. President, because we have about 8 more members who want to deliver their sponsorship speeches. I'd like to insert for the record my sponsorship of this measure. Very important solution.
So inserted.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, we'd now like to recognize Senator Bam Aquino, the distinguished gentleman from Tarlac and the Republic of the Philippines.
Senator Bam Aquino is recognized.
Maraming salamat, Mr. President, Mr. Majority Floor Leader. I'm very happy to co-sponsor Senate Concurrent Resolution number 90, entitled Honoring and Commending the Awardees of Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos of 2025. Let me first commend our Senate President for sponsoring this resolution. This measure honors these outstanding Filipinos and also serves as a reminder to us of how great leaders can uplift their communities and bring people together for the common good. I must also commend the Metrobank Foundation for the Outstanding Filipinos program, which celebrates its 40th anniversary this year. Through the years, this Professional Career Service Award has inspired generations of Filipinos to pursue excellence, hindi lang bilang isang layunin, kundi bilang panghabang buhay na pangako sa sambayan ng Pilipino. Mr. President, sa harap ng dami-daming issue sa ating lipunan, mahalaga na ipagbunyi natin ang ang husay ng mga bagong bayani, mga guro, sundalo at pulis. Ang 10 Pilipino pong ito ay nagsisilbing game changers dahil sa mga panibagong programa at inobasyon sa kanilang trabaho. So let me say a few words for each of them, and may I request them to stand up as I mention their names. Unang-una po, ang ating Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Teachers. Pinararangalan po si Ginoong Noel Sadinas bilang Outstanding Filipino dahil sa kanyang pagsulong ng edukasyon para sa indigenous people sa Nueva Vizcaya at sa pangunguna sa SPED class para sa kanila. Dahil sa kanyang dedikasyon sa nakalipas na 12 taon, nakilala din po si Ginoong Sadinas ng iba't ibang international organizations na nagbibigay ng karagdagang karangalan sa ating bansa. Maraming salamat, Teacher Noel. Sunod po, pinararangalan po si Engineer Amando Molin bilang isang outstanding Filipino dahil sa kanyang kontribusyon sa peace building at sustainability sa komunidad po niya sa Laguna for over 23 years. Dahil sa kanyang trabaho bilang guro at mentor, nabawasan ang pambubuli sa paaralan at maraming mga estudyante ang natuto kung paano maging mas innovative at creative. Maraming salamat, Engineer Aman. Sunod po, pinararangalan si Dr. Mylene Uy bilang isang outstanding Filipino dahil sa kanyang pagpapalakas ng science-related graduate program sa Mindanao. Sa loob ng 32 taon, naging inspirasyon din po siya sa isang buong henerasyon ng mga Filipino scientists. Dahil sa kanyang walang sawang pagsasanay sa mga guro at pag-coach sa mga estudyante sa research, napakita po ni Dr. Mylene na sa kabila ng limitadong resources, maaaring makamit ang excellence sa larangan ng agham. Maraming salamat, Dr. Maylin. At panghuli po sa mga outstanding teacher, si Dr. Angelo Mark Walag. Pinararangalan po siya dahil sa kanyang pangunguna sa Experiential Learning Program sa Cagayan de Oro, na gumagamit ng mga research-based at innovative na learning materials para mas madaling maintindihan ng mga estudyante. Ang trabaho, mga initiatives at programa ni Dr. Jello sa nakalipas na 13 taon ay nagpapakita ng kanyang dedikasyon na bigyan ng real-world skills ang mga mag-aaral habang binibigyang lakas ang mga gurong Pilipino. Maraming salamat, Dr. Jello. Maraming salamat sa mga guro po natin at Happy National Teachers Month din po. Hangang-hanga po kami sa inyong dedication, innovation, creativity at community-orientedness. Sigurado kami na dahil sa mga guro tulad nyo, maliwanag ang kinabukasan ng ating mga kabataan. Ngayon po, nais po nating purihin ang ating Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Soldiers. Una po, pinararangalan si Colonel Joey Fontiveros, ang inaugural Commander of the Armed Forces of the Philippines Cyber Command. Dahil siya ay bumuo ng critical systems tulad ng Cyber Assets and Risk Management Information System at Cyber EX. Dahil sa expertise ni Colonel Fontiveros, siya ang nagbibigay ng mga lecture at pagsasanay sa mga cybersecurity professionals na humuhubog sa cybersecurity ng Pilipinas. Maraming salamat, Colonel Fontiveros. Next po, si Colonel Ricky Canatoy. Dahil sa kanyang dedikasyon sa pagpapahalaga sa kapayapaan at ang pagtutok sa pag-unlad ng mga komunidad sa Misamis Oriental, mga komunidad na may paaralan, kalsada, internet connectivity, at livelihood programs para sa mga mamamayan. Si Colonel Canatoy po isang inspirasyon sa mga kapwa military officers na naniniwala na ang tunay na tagumpay ay hindi lang sa military victory kung hindi sa sustainable peace at community development. Maraming salamat, Colonel Canatoy. Panghuli po sa ating outstanding soldier, si Underwater Operationsman First Class Anro Anthony Turalio, na pinararangalan dahil sa kanyang expertise sa explosive ordnance disposal at commitment to public safety. Si Underwater Operationsman First Class Turalio ay hindi lang nagprotekta sa ating mga kababayan. Ang kanyang kontribusyon ay naging foundation din ng safety protocols ng ating bansa. Siya po'y binibigyang parangal dahil sa kanyang invaluable contribution sa disposal ng unserviceable munitions, ERWs at UXOs. Maraming salamat, Underwater Operationsman First Class Turalio. Hangang-hanga po kami sa skill, leadership at unwavering commitment ng mga sundalo na pinararangalan ng Metrobank Foundation ngayong araw. Muli po, congratulations sa ating outstanding Filipino soldiers. Last but certainly not the least, nais po natin parangalan ang Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Police Officers. Una, pinararangalan po natin si Police Colonel Frederick Obar dahil sa mga reforma nagpapahalaga sa innovation at community engagement tulad ng virtual learning system na naging modelo sa kabuuang PNP. Dahil sa mga programa at inisyatiba ni Police Colonel Obar, nakapagsulong ng parehong tiwala ng komunidad at pambansang seguridad ang ating Philippine National Police. Maraming salamat, Police Colonel Obar. Next po, si Police Major Elmira Relox, dahil po sa kanyang laban sa anti-human trafficking at proteksyon ng mga komunidad sa Tawi-Tawi. Dahil po sa kanya, mahigit 1,300 human trafficking victims ang na-rescue over 185 operations. Si Police Major Relox din po ang nag-pioneer ng tools tulad ng Human Trafficking Route Map at TIP Take-Inform na nagpapakita ng innovative approach sa crime prevention at community protection. Maraming salamat, Police Major Relox. Panghuli po, sa ating outstanding police officers, si Police Master Sergeant Ivan Velasco. Siya po'y binibigyang parangal dahil sa kanyang innovative community and law enforcement programs, kung saan po siya ay naging inspirasyon sa mga kapwa police officers na naniniwala sa power ng sports at youth development. Si Police Master Sergeant Velasco din ay simbolo ng continuous professional development at excellence dahil po sa mahigit na 100 awards at certification sa drone piloting, scuba diving at marksmanship. Maraming salamat, Police Master Sergeant Velasco. Hangang-hanga po kami sa multifaceted approach sa policing na nagsasama-sama ng community engagement, technical skills, and athletic excellence ng ating tatlong Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Police Officer Awardees. Tulad po ninyo, patuloy din po kaming nagsusumikap na suportahan ang youth development programs at community-based crime prevention initiatives. Mr. President, nais ko pong ulitin na mahalaga, sa totoo lang po, mas mahalaga pa ngayon na ipagbunyi po natin ang mga totoong public servant. Mga tao po na nagbibigay ng kanilang oras, talento at buhay para sa ating bayan na wala pong hinihinging kapalit. Kaya po ang Metrobank na ang nagbigay parangal sa kanila at tayo po ngayon sa Senado nagbibigay ng tamang parangal sa kanila. Kaya kami po, hanga po sa Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos. Sila po'y nagniningning ehemplo ng serbisyo at kung paano po tayo dapat magsilbi bilang kawani ng gobyerno. Dear colleagues, this is why I rise today to co-sponsor this resolution, to honor these Filipinos who have given decades of their lives to serve Filipino communities across the country with honor, dignity, integrity, and excellence. Muli po, congratulations sa ating awardees. Maraming salamat, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, next to sponsor the measure is a distinguished colleague from Valenzuela and the Republic of the Philippines, Senator Win Gatchalian.
Senator Sherwin Gatchalian is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, esteemed colleagues, I'm honored to stand before you today to sponsor a resolution celebrating 10 remarkable individuals, the Metrobank Foundation's Outstanding Filipinos for 2025. Napapanahon ang gantimpalang ito, Mr. President, sa kabila ng talamak na korupsyon, sa issue ng mga flood control projects at sa pagkawala ng tiwala ng taong bayan sa pamahalaan. Hindi lang basta naging mahusay ang ating mga pinararangalan. Sila'y huwaran ng sipag, integridad at profesionalismo, mga katangiang higit na kailangan sa panahong ito. They have gone beyond excellence. They inspire us, challenge us, and remind us most vividly that the doors to the virtues of integrity, patriotism, social responsibility, and courage are opened by challenging the ways things are. Alam po natin na napakalaki ng papel ng ating mga guro sa paghuhubog ng kinabukasan ng bansa. Dahil sa kanilang tiyaga at malasakit, nabubuksan ang kaisipan ng ating mga kabataan, nahasa ang kanilang kakayahan, talino at dunong para makamit nila ang kanilang mga pangarap at makatulong sila sa pag-angat ng antas ng pamumuhay sa kanilang mga komunidad. This year, we honor 4 distinct educators who exemplify the very best in the world's noblest profession. Noel Sandinas is a trailblazer in basic education. One of his many accomplishments is the pioneering of the first special education class tailored for learners who are from our indigenous peoples. His work has earned both local and international recognition. He is truly one of Nueva Vizcaya's brightest inspirations. Engineer Amado Perfecto de la Cruz Molin has devoted more than 2 decades of his life in inspiring our youth, teaching them to confront the most pressing social issues of our time, and passing on the values of kindness and empathy. The 2 flagship programs he founded, Youth Universal Collaboration for Sustainability and Kindness for Peace, are models that our other communities and organizations can follow. Dr. Mylene M. Uy is one of the nation's brightest minds. She is renowned for her contributions in the field of natural products chemistry. She pioneers efforts to drug discovery and development with a particular emphasis on Philippine medicinal plants from Mindanao. Her legacy lives on, not just in her body of work, but in the many students and teachers she has inspired to follow in her footsteps. Dr. Angelo Mark Walag is shaping the landscape of science education by seamlessly integrating technology with accessible, engaging instruction. His work on scientific literacy inspired him to develop training modules for elementary science teachers. Dr. Walag institutionalized a continuing professional learning course that equips alternative learning systems teachers with structures training across multiple strands. His work has become a blueprint for other divisions in the Department of Education and continues to make an impact on the lives of students and teachers for many years to come. Mr. President, ang sunod nating bibigyan ng parangal ay mga awardees natin mula sa militar at kapulisan. Our soldiers and police officers are our protectors, not only against the threats of crime or conflict, but also against the erosion of trust in law and the state. We honor 6 awardees, 2 from the Philippine Army, 1 from the Philippine Navy, and 3 from the Philippine National Police. Colonel Joey Fontiveros is a pioneer in the field of military cyber operations. He is the inaugural commander of the AFP's Cyber Command and serves at the forefront of safeguarding our country in the forefront of cyber security. Colonel Ricky Canatoy has done more than protect lives threatened by conflict. He has built bridges between communities. Colonel Canatoy's leadership has been pivotal to the stability of northern Mindanao and the return of indigenous people to Sitio Calhaan after 15 years of displacement. Underwater Operations Man First Class Anro Anthony Turalio has dedicated more than 30 years of his service to the Navy and is acknowledged by his expertise as one of the best in explosive ordnance disposal. His work saves lives and is a testament of his skill, integrity, and love for country. The tireless example of Police Colonel Frederick Obar underscores the 2 vital elements of law enforcement: a relentless pursuit of crime and unwavering commitment to work with different groups in our communities to bring people together. His leadership resulted in the dismantling of organized crime groups and the rescue of foreign kidnapped victims, which have led to greater security and more enduring trust from the public. Police Major Elmira Relox is Tawi-Tawi's vanguard against human trafficking, and like her fellow awardees, stands that the way to lasting positive change is by spending time with people on the ground to build systems that keep people safe and create a climate of active, concerned citizenry. Police Master Sergeant Ivan Velasco has done a remarkable job combining his talents as both an athlete and an officer by leading the Bola Hindi Droga initiative, which keeps our young people away from drugs, from dangerous drugs, while instilling in them a love for the active life. He has also made significant contributions in intelligence coordination and police responsiveness. Sergeant Velasco stands as a role model for any aspiring police officer. To the men and women of the Metrobank Foundation, you have my sincerest gratitude and admiration. For 40 years, this award has upheld the finest Filipino values. Beyond the recognition and praise that come with today's ceremony, the Metrobank Outstanding Filipino Awards serve as a beacon that expands our horizon of aspirations. It dares us to take on the challenges of our time and move past the deficiencies of mediocrity, complacency, and indifference towards a fairer, kinder, and more equitable vision of the world. Thank you to all that you have done and for all you continue to do. Muli, congratulations sa ating 2025 Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos. Mabuhay po kayong lahat. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Majority Leader, yes.
Next to also deliver his sponsorship speech is our dear colleague, the distinguished gentleman from Davao and Bohol, no other than Senator Bato de la Rosa.
Senator Ronald De La Rosa is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President, Majority Leader. Mr. President, it is my distinct honor to co-sponsor Senate Resolution number 90. With this resolution, we commend the Filipinos whom the Metrobank Foundation awards as the Outstanding Filipinos of 2025. Today, with renewed vigor and inspiration, we honor 10 new individuals who live individual lives following this year's theme, Beyond Excellence. Our teachers, number 1, Teacher Noel Sadinas of Nueva Vizcaya, for transforming seemingly hopeless dump sites into what I would call promising dream sites, where indigenous people have a learning and farming community. Number 2, Engineer Amando Molin, Sir Aman, as his students call him, of Laguna, for recognizing that the learning of empathy is just as important as the learning of gravitational theory. Number 3, Dr. Mylene Oy of Iligan City, for raising Mindanao students to world-class standards in science education, and for likewise helping them believe in a world far larger than their own. Number 4, Dr. Angelo Mark Walag of Cagayan de Oro City, for knowing perfectly well that learning and playing are not opposites, and instead they perfectly complement and support each other, especially in science education. Our soldiers, number 1, Underwater Operations Man First Class Andro Anthony Torralio, for your mastery of technical explosive ordnance disposal and improvised explosive devices, and the courage to put this mastery to good and effective use. Number 2, Colonel Ricky Canatoy, for being our champion for peace, balancing out combat with social development, sustaining a brand of anti-insurgency that comes simultaneously with restoration and trust. Number 3, Colonel Joey Fontiveros, Commander of the AFP Cyber Command, for defending and securing us in a space that is not as visible, not as tangible, but is just as real and open, just as dangerous, cyberspace. Our police officers, number 1, Police Colonel Frederick Ubar, for proving that there can be no hindrance to training and studying for our PNP in your creation of the virtual learning system during the pandemic. Number 2, Police Major Elmira Relox, in your 26 years of service, you have been instrumental in the creation of an environment that is safe for all women and children in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, one where vulnerability and agency are equally protected. Number 3, Police Master Sergeant Ivan Velasco, among your many achievements, I honor you for believing in and empowering our youth to pursue more worthwhile interests as you launch the Bula Hindi Droga Basketball Clinic. Congratulations sa inyong lahat. Mr. President, I have no illusions about the times within which we now find ourselves. Ito yung mga panahon kung saan lagi ko nang nababasa sa social media ang mga katagang, ang hirap mong mahalin, Pilipinas. Sa kasalukuyan, marami sa ating mga kababayan ang lubog na sa tubig ulan, lubog pa sa utang. Mabuti na lang, Mr. President, dahil bawat taon, hatid ng Metrobank Foundation ang isang magandang balita. Kay rami pa rin ng mga bayaning Pilipino. Mahirap man mahalin ang Pilipinas, marami pa rin mga Pilipino ang nagsusumikap na gawing mas madali ito dahil ang kani-kanilang mga trabaho at papel ay patuloy at walang sawa nilang ginagampanan. Madalas, ang binibigay nila ay higit pa sa kinakailangan. Alam kong taon-taon binabaha rin ang Metrobank Foundation ng mga application at nominations. I cannot imagine the difficulty that the Metrobank Foundation encounters every year in attempting to narrow down the awardees to just 10 outstanding Filipinos. But somehow, they have managed to do it. For 40 years, which is why we are now honoring the honorees for 2025. To the awardees I say, may your tribe increase. Huwag kayong magsawang mahalin ang Pilipinas. Huwag din kayong magsawang maging dahilan upang lalong mahalin ng bawat Pilipino ang kanyang bayan. Alam kong hindi madali, alam kong may mga bagay na hindi natin naiintindihan, pero sa tulong ninyo, sa tulong ng inyong napakagandang halimbawa, maiahon din natin ang lubog na estado ng ating bayan. Walang katapusang pagpupugay sa inyo. Walang katapusang bayanihan. Maraming salamat, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, next to sponsor the measure is a distinguished gentleman from Pampanga, Cavite, and Republic of the Philippines, other than Senator Kiko Pangilinan.
Senator Francis Pangilinan is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Majority Leader. Mr. President, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is with pride and pleasure that I rise before you today to co-sponsor Senate Resolution number 90 and give tribute to Metrobank Foundation's 10 outstanding Filipinos for 2025. Nakakatuwa at nakakataba ng puso dahil 20 years ago, naging chairman naman ako ng Board of Judges para sa final nominees sa search ng Metrobank Foundation para sa outstanding teachers noong 2005. Nakakatuwa at nakakataba ng puso dahil 40 years na ang pagpaparangal at pagbibigay pabuya. 1 million pesos kada awardee ngayong taon na ito ng Metrobank Foundation sa mga bayani ng bayan habang sila'y buhay pa. Nakakatuwa at nakakataba ng puso dahil bagamat parang nilulunod na tayo sa mga scam at skandal, marami pa rin sa ating mga lingkod bayan ang tapat at totoo sa kanilang mga sinumpaang tungkulin. Swak sa timing itong parangal para sa 10 katangi-tanging mga Pilipino ng taon sa larangan ng edukasyon, peacekeeping, at defense. Swak sa timing na may headline naman ang mga nag-alay ng kanilang dugot, pawis at luha para sa serbisyo. Swak sa timing na pasikatin naman natin ang mga kawani, ang mga empleyado at opisyal ng gobyerno na may K, may D at may I. Kakayahan, dedikasyon, integridad. Sa gitna ng krisis sa edukasyon ng ating bansa, nariyan si Master Teacher 2 Noel V. Salinas ng Makalong Elementary School, Nueva Vizcaya. Nariyan din si Engineer Amando Perfecto C. Molin, guro sa South Hill School, Los Baños, Laguna. Nariyan din si Dr. Maylene M. Uy, Professor 6 ng Mindanao State University, Iligan Institute of Technology. Si Dr. Angelo Mark P. Walag, isa ring chemistry professor naman, 6 ng University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines sa Cagayan de Oro City, Misamis Oriental. Sa hanay naman ng ating sandatahang lakas, si Army Colonel Jolly T. Fontiveros, Commander ng AFP Cyber Commander, pinangalagaan ang ating military cyber defense. Nariyan din si Army Colonel Ricky L. Canatoy, Master in National Security Administration, Battalion Commander of the 58th Infantry Battalion mula 2020 hanggang 2022. Si Underwater Operations Man First Class Anro Anthony M. Turalio ng Philippine Navy, Naval Special Operations Command bilang expert sa explosive ordnance disposal. At sa hanay naman ng kapulisan, si Police Colonel Frederick Obar sa kanyang pamumuno ng anti-kidnapping group sa Philippine National Police. Nariyan din si Police Master Sergeant Ivan Velasco sa kanyang programang Bola, Hindi Droga para sa ating youth welfare and development. At si Police Major Elmira Relox bilang Provincial Women and Children Protection Desk Officer sa PNP. Maraming salamat sa inyong ehemplo, pagiging inspirasyon at natatanging serbisyo sa bayan. Napansin namin ni Senator Marcoleta at ito'y hiling namin na sana sa susunod na taon ng pag-award ng Outstanding Filipinos, meron namang mananalo sa hanay ng pagsasaka at pangingisda sa ating public service dahil sila naman ang nagpapakain sa atin. We are grateful as well to the people behind Metrobank Foundation. That through 4 decades you have helped build a strong support for good governance in our country. Indeed, the private sector has a lot to contribute in our common desire to ensure that good governance continues, will prevail and continue to prevail in our country, in our bureaucracy. Together with the Metrobank and our outstanding awardees in public service, the nation is in good hands. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Senator Pangilinan.
Thank you very much,
Majority Leader.
Senator Pangilinan. Mr. President, next to give her a sponsorship speech is a dear colleague of ours, our distinguished gentle lady from the province of Antique, Malabon, and the Republic of the Philippines, no other than Senator Lauren Legarda.
Senator Lauren Legarda is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, it is with great honor that I rise today to co-sponsor the resolution commending and congratulating the 2025 Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos. Every year, this recognition reminds us that true public service is alive in the everyday acts of our teachers, our soldiers, and our police officers who carry out their duties with integrity, courage, and compassion. This year's awardees, educators who nurture young minds, soldiers who safeguard our sovereignty, police officers who ensure peace and order, embody the finest values of service to our nation. At a time when public institutions are often met with skepticism, the lives and the work of these 10 outstanding Filipinos serve as beacons of hope. They remind us that dedication, excellence, and selflessness can restore confidence in our systems and inspire others to follow their lead. They are not only models of competence and courage, but also role models of how true service should be rendered with integrity, humility, and compassion. As we honor them, let us be reminded that our own mandate as public servants spring from the same well of trust, the Filipino people. Our highest loyalty is not to power or to position, but to those we are sworn to serve. On behalf of this chamber, I join my colleagues in celebrating their exemplary contributions to our country. May their example continue to inspire future generations of public servants to serve with honor, humility, and love for our people. Congratulations to our teachers, Noel V. Sadinas, Amando Perfecto C. Molin, Maylin M. Uy, and Dr. Angelo Mark P. Walag. The soldiers, Underwater Operations Man First Class Anro Anthony M. Turalio, Colonel Ricky L. Canatoy, and Colonel Joey T. Fontiveros, and police officers, Police Master Sergeant Ivan A. Velasco, Police Major Elmira A. Relox, and Police Colonel Frederick E. Obar. Maraming salamat po sa inyong dedikasyon at serbisyo.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, next to sponsor the measures, our distinguished colleague from Taguig, Pateros, and the Republic of the Philippines, Senator Pia Cayetano.
Senator Pia is recognized. Pia Cayetano is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today, I rise to co-sponsor Senate Resolution Number 90, honoring and commending the awardees of the Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos of 2025. It is my honor, Mr. President, to deliver this co-sponsorship speech as I was once, as a very new senator, one of the judges of the Metrobank Foundation. The Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos Award is a celebration of what is possible when public service is performed with honor, excellence, and heart. For the award for teachers, before I continue, Mr. President, let me just say that I abbreviated the speech I will deliver because our colleagues have enumerated their many accomplishments. So for the award for teachers, let me start with this. I've been blessed to grow up with a teacher by my side, my mom, Sandra Cayetano, and my paternal grandmother, for whom I was named, Juliana Cayetano, was also a teacher. I know how valuable it is to have teachers who truly care. These awardees plant the seeds of critical thinking, compassion, and resilience in the mind of our youth. During this day of digitalization and AI, that is what counts, Mr. President, the soft skills. That, to me, is nation building in its purest form. Mr. Noel V. Sadinas of Nueva Vizcaya, known as Nueva Vizcaya's champion for global citizenship education. Mr. Amando Perfecto Molin of Los Baños, Laguna, known as Los Baños Mentor for Future Leaders. Ms. Maylene M. Uy, PhD, Mindanao State University, Iligan Institute of Technology, Iligan City, Lanao del Norte, known as Lanao del Norte's trailblazing chemist for nation building. And Mr. Angelo Mark P. Walag, PhD, University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines, Cagayan de Oro, Misamis Oriental, known as Cagayan de Oro's pioneer for experiential learning. Mr. President, amidst all the challenges in our educational system, learning gaps, resource shortages, and the recent learning recovery crisis, these educators rise above and go beyond. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. For the award for soldiers who are tasked to defend the state against foreign armed aggression and fight wars. Underwater Operations Man First Class, Anthony M. Turalio, PN, Cavite City, Philippine Navy Specialist Defender against Violent Extremists. Colonel Ricky L. Canatoy, PA, MNSA, Cagayan de Oro, Misamis Oriental, Misamis Oriental's Vanguard of Peace and Development. And Colonel Joey T. Fontiveros, PA, GSC, Quezon City, AFP Cyber Ranger in Defense and Security. Maraming salamat po. For the award for police officer who enforce our domestic laws and maintain peace and order within the country, Police Master Sergeant Ivan A. Velasco, City of Manila, PNP's Crusader for Environment Protection, and my fellow runner. Pero malamang mas malakas siya sa akin kasi mukhang fit na fit po siya. Police Major Elmira A. Relox, Parang, Maguindanao del Norte, Tawi-Tawi's torchbearer of healing and compassion. Mr. President, I need to add that we are always proud, I am always proud to see a woman excel in what was once known to be a male-dominated field. Once known. Kaya marami na rin nagdo-dominate ng kababaihan. Kapareho po ng ating awardee. Police Colonel Frederick E. Obar, Quezon City, Ilocos Norte's Police Innovator of Transformative Reforms, and my fellow triathlete. We competed together in the Bataan International Triathlon. To our awardees from the Armed Forces Police Service, you are often tasked with difficult roles, maintaining peace, upholding the law, risking your lives for the safety of others. Yet you perform your duties with discipline, courage, and above all, a respect for human rights and public trust. Maraming salamat po. You show that honor and valor are not just words etched on a medal, but values lived every day in the line of duty. To all the awardees, your achievements serve as a powerful reminder to us that across our schools, communities, and every corner of the nation, there are dedicated individuals who are creating meaningful change, often without recognition. I also extend my gratitude to the Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos 2025 Committee for your tireless efforts for always bringing this group to us year after year, and for giving us the privilege to take part in celebrating their remarkable contributions. Maraming salamat. Once again, it is a pleasure to see you, Chito, my good friend, Chito Sobrepeñas, and also to have in our presence Philip Boyet D., who officially took over just this July 15, 2025. Mabuhay po kayong lahat. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Next to give the sponsorship speech is the gentleman from Davao, no other than Senator Christopher Bongo.
Senator Christopher Bongo is recognized.
Mr. President, bilang isang Mindanaoan at isang Batanggenyo, it is my great honor to co-sponsor Senate resolution honoring and commending the awardees of the Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos of 2025. Taon-taon ating ibinibigyang pugay ang mga natatanging individual tulad ng mga guro, sundalo at pulis na nagsisilbing huwaran ng kagalingan, katapatan at malasakit sa bayan. Sa kanilang walang sawang paglilingkod, ipinapakita nila ang tunay na sukatan ng tagumpay, hindi lamang ang sariling kapakinabangan, kundi ang kabutihang na ibabahagi nila sa kapwa at sa sambayanan. To our awardees, this honor is a fitting recognition of your professionalism, competence, and integrity, an expression of our gratitude for your service to the country beyond excellence. Mr. President, the 4 outstanding teachers we are honoring today have contributed to the improvement of the quality of education in our country. They have played a significant role in molding the minds of our youth and shaping the future of our country. I would like to express my gratitude to Mr. Noel V. Sadinas, Nueva Vizcaya's champion for global citizenship education, Mr. Amando Perfecto C. Molin, Los Baños Mentor for Future Leaders, Miss Maylin M. Uy, Lanao del Norte's Trailblazing Chemist for Nation Building, sa Iligan po ito, Bisaya. Mr. Angelo Mark P. Walag, Cagayan de Oro's Pioneer for Experiential Learning. To the outstanding teachers, thank you for taking on the critical role of guiding, molding, and inspiring our nation's future leaders. May you continue to impart knowledge among our youth and continue to be pillars of education. Mr. President, I am also glad to recognize the outstanding soldiers and outstanding police for their contributions in maintaining peace and security in our country. First is Underwater Operations Man First Class Anro Anthony M. Toralio, Philippines Navy Specialist Defender Against Violent Extremism. Colonel Ricky L. Canatoy, Philippine Army, Misamis Orientals, Vanguard of Peace and Development. Colonel Joey T. Fontiveros, Philippine Army, AFP Cyber Ranger in Defense and Security. Police Master Sergeant Ivan A. Velasco, PNP's Crusader for Environmental Protection. Police Major Ermira A. Relox, Tawi-Tawi's Torchbearer of Healing and Compassion. Taga Davao po ito. Police Colonel Frederick E. Obar, Ilocos Norte's Police Innovator of Transformative Reforms. To our outstanding soldiers and police officers, thank you for protecting the life and safety of our people even at the risk of your own. Ang pagkilalang ito ay hindi lamang parangal, kundi isang paalala na may mga Pilipinong handang magsakripisyo at magsilbing ilaw at inspirasyon sa gitna ng mga hamon ng ating panahon. Isa lang po ang paalala ko sa inyo, unahin po natin ang interes ng bayan, unahin po natin ang interes ng bawat Pilipino. Once again, I congratulate and thank the 10 Metro Bank Foundation outstanding Filipinos for their excellence and dedication to their respective fields of service. Maraming salamat, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, we'd just like to put on record, Senator Mark Villar would like to just insert into the records his sponsorship speech. And we also was requested by the former Senate President, Senator Escudero, he also submitted this co-sponsorship speech to be submitted for the record, Mr. President, and inserted into the records. So just for
All
the
right, so
information.
inserted into the records as manifested by the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, no other member wishes to interpolate or propose amendments to the measure. I move that we adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 90, taking in consideration proposed Senate Resolutions number 100, 109, 118, and 121, subject to style, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, proposed Senate Resolution number 90, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolutions 100, 109, 118, and 121, subject to style, is hereby adopted.
Mr. President, may we also make all members co-author of the said resolutions, Mr. President.
Hearing no objection, the
President.
motion is approved. Everyone is made co-author.
Thank you, Mr. President. May we ask for a minute suspension to have a photo opportunity, and you can also give the resolution to the
Session is suspended.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr.
Join the
President.
leader.
Mr. President, we'd like to recognize a distinguished colleague from Davao, Isabela, and the Republic of the Philippines, no other than Senator Raffy Tulfo, Mr. President.
Senator Rafi Tulfo is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I speak before you today on a matter of personal and collective privilege. Mr. President, yesterday, reports came out in the news that a stolen SUV Ford Everest was found at Camp Crame. It was parked at the married officers' quarters or the house occupied by senior PNP officials. According to the owner of the vehicle, the SUV was rented out to a Chinese national named Wang Weiyi, but it was not returned to them. Kumbaga, na-rent tangay ang sasakyan. Ang rent tangay po, sa mga hindi pa po nakakaalam, ay isang modus operandi kung saan ang isang tao ay magrerenta ng sasakyan tapos hindi na po ito isusoli. Mas swabing anyo po ito ng carnapping. Ako po ay nababahala sa balitang ito dahil madami ng kaso na ganito ang nakarating sa aking programa. If you let me show some cases brought to my program.
2 days lang po niya i-rent yung sasakyan po. Tapos po, nung isang araw lang po, nag-message siya ng morning na isanla daw po ng kaibigan niya and then sinanla daw sa casino, sa financer.
May tumawag po sa akin na pwede po bang mag-rent ng sasakyan? Galing po akong Tagaytay. Mag-vacation daw po sila sa Angeles. Tinurn over ko po yung sasakyan sa kanya. Tapos po, nung kinabukasan po, tinanong ko po siya kung nasan po siya. Tas ang banggit niya po is nasangla niya daw po yung sasakyan ko na ng 250 sa tao sa casino. Pero po lahat po kami pare-pareho po siya ng sinasabi.
Nag-rent po siya sa akin. First 1 week po is yung Vios ko po na sedan. And then po, nag-extend po ng another 5 days po. So nag-pay po siya. And then dun ko po nalaman, nag-post po ako via sa Facebook po na calling the attention of this company, Katay. Tumawag po sa akin yung HR, sabi niya na about to my concern.
Ano sabi po ng Katay?
Sabi nila, hindi daw nila empleyado si Joy Solenap. Based sa HR po. Hanggang nalaman ko lahat pala ng transaksyon from the company, siya po pala lahat, nag-forge po siya ng mga messages.
Pinaparent din niya siguro yung kotse.
Ginagamit niya po pang deliver ng medicine, sir.
Ang modus operandi po na rentangay ay talamak at kailangan na pong tutukan ng ating mga opisyal sa PNP. Ang masaklap, yung mga opisyal pa nating PNP, siguro ang dapat natin tutukan sa kanilang mga masasamang gawain. Mr. President, mas nakakabahala po sa balita na lumabas kahapon dahil ang sasakyan na nirentangay ay natagpuan or tinangay, ay natagpuan sa loob mismo ng Camp Crame at nakapark sa married officers' quarters kung saan nakatira mga matataas na opisyal ng PNP. Upang maliwanagan tayong lahat, let me go back a bit on the history of this SUV, kung paano ito nawala at paano ito nakarating sa Camp Crame. Noong July 1, 2025, may nakidnap na Chinese national ng isang grupo ng mga Chinese nationals din. According to then PNP Chief Nicolas Torre, the victim who was assisting a relative with a supposed car sale met with the individuals who turned out to be part of the kidnapping operation. After gaining the victim's trust, they took control of the vehicles and kidnapped the victim. Fortunately, on July 14, the PNP Anti-Kidnapping Group, or AKG, was able to rescue the victim in Batangas and recovered multiple vehicles, including the subject SUV. Kasama din po sa mga na-recover ang 1 million pesos, 2 firearms, illegal drugs, and uniforms for policemen and security guards. So nasa posesyon po ng PNP ang nawawalang sasakyan July 14 pa lamang. But on August 6, the owner of the SUV eventually traced it to a global positioning system, or GPS, installed in the car and saw that it was parked in the PNP MOQ, or Married Officers' Quarters. Mr. President, kung ako ang may-ari ng sasakyan, Di ko alam kung ako ba'y matutuwa, mainis o matatakot. Na-rent na nga yung sasakyan ko tapos bigla ko na lang matitrace ang sasakyan sa Camp Crame at sa tiraan pa ng mga matataas na officials ng PNP. Ito na po ang nakakatawa. Yesterday, September 9, explaining that the one responsible for the illegal parking is an unnamed personnel of the AKG. But according to AKG spokesperson Major Eleanor Villaruz, there was nothing irregular daw with what happened, saying that there was just a lack of parking space near their office. Wala naman daw problema doon. Tell it to the Marines. Pero bakit sabi ni PNP Headquarters Support Service, hindi daw coordinated sa kanila ang pag-park na nasabing SUV sa MOQ? Note that the Headquarters Support Service is in charge in managing the parking and traffic inside Camp Crame. Furthermore, PNP spokesperson Brigadier General Randolph Tuano said they are investigating who is liable for parking the SUV at the officers' row and the one responsible will be punished. Ano ba talaga PNP? Walang irregularity o dapat may managot? Hindi na dapat pinagtatalunan po ito. The fact na nahanap pa ng may-ari ang kanyang sasakyan sa pamagitan ng sarili niyang GPS ay malinaw na may mali. Bakit hindi sila naimpormahan agad ng PNP? Mr. President, may tatlong problema po akong nakikita dito. Una, ang talamak na modus operandi ng rent tangay. Paano na ba natin mapupugsa ang mga ganitong krimen? Paano mapapabilis ang paghanap ng mga natakay na sasakyan? At paano mapupugsa ang mga peking dokumento na ginagamit ng mga mangloloko? Kailangan natin ito silipin dahil maliban sa pagtangay ng sasakyan, ginagamit pa po ito sa iba pang mga criminal operations tulad ng kidnapping. Pangalawa, tila may problema na naman ang ilang mga tauhan ng PNP sa pagpapatupad ng kanilang Standard Operating Procedure, SOP, ayon sa PNP SOP number 2011-04. All carnap stolen motor vehicles, including the abandoned ones recovered by PNP units in Metro Manila, shall be turned over within 48 hours to the HPG Central Vehicle Impounding Area at Camp Crame. And within 5 working days, the concerned HPG unit that recovered, impounded a motor vehicle shall identify and inform the rightful owner that his or her lost vehicle was already recovered and under the possession of the informing unit. Thereafter, subject vehicle shall be released to the rightful owner upon presentation of proper documents and lifting of alarm. Mr. President, July 14 naganap ang operasyon ng AKG kung kailan na-recover ang SUV. Pero August 6 na-discover ito ng may-ari gamit ang GPS. Ibig sabihin, halos isang buwan na hindi pa sila nasasabihan ng nasa PNP na pala ang kanilang sasakyan. At bakit wala ito sa HPG Central Vehicle Impounding Area at nasa MOQ ito? Sa MOQ, tanging ang drivers ng senior officers ang may authority magpasok lamang ng sasakyan o ang mismong senior officers. So, kung ako pong tatanungin, may senior officer na nag-authorize na may pasok itong SUV sa MOQ area, hindi pwedeng sabihin na walang irregularity dito. Finally, this is another sign of abuse of authority and impunity in the ranks of the PNP. While our attention is focused on infrastructure projects, I would like to call the attention of PNP, lalo na under its new leadership, to double down in purging the PNP of scalawags and ninja cops. In the past years, we've had hearings here on ninja cops regarding drugs and recycling of recovered drugs. Baka hindi lang sa drugs may ninja cops. In fact, Mr. President, in a recent complaint in my program, a certain Villalin Lim said she paid for a Ford Everest unit in cash at the dealership. However, when she got into a road accident, she found out that the SUV was registered to a certain Police Corporal Jonathan Corral of the PNP Engineering Service. Corral denied being involved in the scam, but all the red flags are there. Alam ko po na nakailang resolution na po ako at nakailang privilege speech na dito tungkol sa ating mga law enforcers. Linawin ko lang po, wala po akong galit sa law enforcers at hindi ko po nilalahat sa PNP, pero hindi po ako papayag na tuloy-tuloy na nabibiktima ang ating mga kababayan ng sarili nating mga kapulisan. I hope that they recovered the golden years of PNP. Naalala ko po nung si PNP chief, si Senate President Pro Tempore Ping Lacson. He had an iron hand and implemented a strict policy directly targeting carnapping along with other criminal activities. He ordered police personnel to return illegally used carnap vehicles, and within just 2 weeks, the order led to the recovery of about 600 vehicles, which created a virtual parking lot at Camp Crame and was a significant signal of his administration's seriousness about tackling the issue. With the new PNP chief, I hope he can take a page from Senator Lacson's PNP playbook in working on PNP's operations. Lead by example and beat the system that has taken root in our PNP. On my part, I will review the laws holding our public officials involved in these irregularities, criminal libel, and see if there are matters that must be changed. I would like to look into the anti-carnapping law and anti-fencing law. I would also want the help of our other government agencies, such as the MMDA and LTO, in putting in place systems to deter rent-tangay schemes. Mr. President, when there's smoke, there's a well-hidden fire somewhere. While this incident might not have made the front pages, it seemed that the problem is there, and we should not ignore it. And the leadership of the PNP must be swift in acting on this before the whole PNP burns down. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President? Yes, Mr. President.
Senator Erwin Tulfo, I
Oh,
think,
sorry. My apologies.
wishes to take the floor. Senator Erwin Tulfo is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to make a manifestation to the good gentleman from Isabela and Davao, Mr. President. Well, the good gentleman from Isabela and Davao take some questions from this representation.
Yes, Mr. President.
The privileged speech of the gentleman from Davao and Isabela is very alarming, Mr. President, wherein we know that the Philippine National Police motto is to protect and to serve. Kung ganito pong may nakikita na mga nakaw na sasakyan sa kustodiya nila at nakaparada po sa officers' quarters, iba po ang mensahe, iba po ang senyalis nito para sa ordinaryong mamayan. Now my question is, Mr. President, na-inform na po ba at alam po ba ito ng bagong hepe ng Philippine National Police ang insidenteng ito dahil ito po ay nasa officers' quarters at doon po nakatira din ang Chief PNP?
Tama po kayo, Mr. President. As a matter of fact, inibestigan na po ng Camp Crame ang insidente, pero tama kayo, sa loob mismo ng MOQ. And I've been to the MOQ before, many years ago. In fact, I think a month or so, because my uncle, Aguirre, at that time, he was a high-ranking PNP official. So alam ko mahigpit yan sa MOQ. In fact, dalawang gate ang dadaanan mo bago ka makapasok. So malaking tanong na ipasok itong SUV na ito na carnap vehicle at napayagang mag-park pa mismo doon sa loob ng MOQ. So malaking bagay po ito. And I would like to add also, Mr. President, na through the years, paulit-ulit na lang, yung mga recovered carnap vehicles ay ginagamit ng mga pulis at mga opisyalis pa man din. So paano natin matigil itong carnapping at kung ano pa mga kabalastugan na involved mga sasakyan kung mismo mga pulis ang nasa likod or kasabwat sa mga modus na ito, Mr. President?
Mr. President, alam po natin ang trabaho ng kapulisan ay protektahan ng mamayan at tiyakin ang kaayusan ng ating lipunan. Pero paano kung ilan sa kanila mismo ay sangkot sa illegal na gawain? Paano kung dapat nagtatanggol sa batas ay mismong lumalabag dito? Paano po ito, Mr. President?
Yun nga, Mr. President, ang hamon ko sa present PNP leadership na tulad ng ginawa noong Chief PNP pa, si Senator Ping Lacson. He was the Chief PNP then many years ago. I think it was back in 1999, if I'm not mistaken, na nagdeklara siya. Sabi niya, isoli nyo lahat ng mga recovered carnap vehicles na pinagagamit ninyo sa PNP. And lo and behold, in less than a week, napuno ang Camp Crame grounds dahil pinagsusoli ang lahat ng mga carnap vehicles na pinagagamit ng mga pulis. So ang aking hamon ngayon sa bagong Chief PNP, mag-issue din siya ng ultimatum na lahat ng mga carnap vehicles dyan na gamit-gamit ng mga police, no questions asked, i-turn over agad sa Kamkrame right now.
Mr. President, this issue strikes at the very heart of public trust in our law enforcement institutions. The involvement of police officers in illegal activities is not only deeply troubling, but also a betrayal of duty and a direct threat to the integrity of our justice system. Therefore, Mr. President, would you agree ang 2026 national budget po ng PNP ay 209 billion. Last year po ay 205 billion. Umakyat po ito ng 4 billion pa. Sangayon po ba kayo na dapat tignan po natin ang budget ng PNP at ang mga programa nila kung napupunta po ba sa tama ang budget ng Philippine National Police, Mr. President?
Tama kayo, Mr. President. Kaya nga sa darating natin ng budget hearing comes November, kailangan busisiin kung nagagamit ba ng tama yung mga budget na allocated sa kanila, especially yung kanilang intelligence funds. Kung yung ba ay tamang paggamit at napapakinabangan talaga ng taong bayan at mayroong mga nahuling kriminal o dili kaya ang mismong kriminal ay sila at dapat ma-identify kung sino-sino doon sa kanila ang naging kabaro na ng mga kriminal.
Mr. President, panghuli na lamang po, papayag po ba kayo na tanungin ang hepe po ng pambansang pulisya sa araw po ng kanilang pagpapresenta ng budget dito sa Senado para malaman po natin kung ano po ang mga planong ng bagong hepe, ano po ang direksyon ng Philippine National Police that I am sure, Mr. President, na kakaiba po ito sa operasyon, standard operating procedures o plano kumpara po sa nakaraang PNP chief. Sangayon po ba ang ating butihing Pangulo na matanong ang bagong PNP chief sa pag siya po ay pumasyal dito sa kanilang budget meeting?
Tama kayo, Mr. President. In fact, one thing that I can recommend is yung i-review yung disciplinary process ng NAPOLCOM sa aspeto ng PNP matters. So yan dapat ay talagang tututukan natin at pagdating po ng budget hearing, yan ay aking tatanungin at busisiin, Mr. President.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we refer the speech of our distinguished colleague, Senator Raffy Tulfo, and all the interpellations and manifestations to the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs. So, Mr. President.
So ordered.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, just some admin matters on the election of the chairpersons of the committees. Mr. President, pursuant to Rule 10, Section 13 of the Rules of the Senate, I move to elect Senator Francis Kiko Pangilinan as chairperson of the Committee on Justice and Human Rights, Vice Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. So move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Chair is none. The motion is approved. Senator Francis Pangilinan is elected chairman of the Committee on Justice and Human Rights.
And with that, Mr. President, we also, pursuant to Article 8, Section 8 of the 1987 Constitution, I move to elect Senator Francis Pangilinan as the Senate's representative to the Judiciary Bar Council. Vice Senator Alan Cayetano, I so move.
Judicial Bar Council.
Judicial and Bar Council.
Any objection? Hearing none, Senator Francis Pangilinan is hereby elected JBC representative of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I also move to elect Senator Camille Villar as chairperson of the Committee on Economic Affairs. Vice this representation, I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, Senator Camille Villar is elected chairperson of the Committee on Economic Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I move to elect as well Senator Lito Lapid as chairperson of the Committee on Cooperatives, Vice Senator Amy Marcos. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, Senator Lito Lapid is elected chairman of the Committee on Cooperatives.
And Mr. President, also after discussing with the minority floor leader earlier, under our Commission on Appointments, the minority has 9 members and we have 15 members. Therefore, if we divide that, the 15 members is an equivalent of 7.5, and the minority has 4.5. Same problem we had the last time, and therefore 0.5 will be with the minority, and 0.5 or half the year or half the term will be with the majority. Mr. President, I'm willing to back down from my seat on the CA to be able to accommodate the minority on the first half of this term, Mr. President.
We thank the majority leader for his magnanimity.
Thank you,
And
Mr.
is the minority ready with their 5 members?
Not yet, Mr. President, but I do have a list of our 7 members, if I may already be able to, with the permission of the body.
But if you do that, that would mean that there will be 13 members of the commission. I think we will have to wait for the 5,
Okay.
or at least -1 on their part.
I think if I elect the 7, Mr. President, we will be adding. May I ask for a minute suspension, Mr. President?
Session suspended.
While we are waiting for the minorities list of members of the CA, we'd like to move that we move that dispense with the reading of the journal of the 18th session, Tuesday, September 9, 2025, and consider the same as approved.
Any objection? Hearing none, the journal is hereby approved.
And we have a few reference of business, Mr. President. I move that we proceed with the reference of business. Just
The
the first half.
Secretary will proceed with the reference of business.
Bills on first reading, Senate number 1101, an act requiring food establishments to serve half-cup rice servings, providing penalties for violation thereof, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committees on Trade and Commerce and Agriculture.
1102, providing alternative modes of voting for persons in vulnerable situations to exercise the right of suffrage, amending RA 10366, providing funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committees on Electoral Reforms, Social Justice, and Finance.
1103, creating the Philippine Rice Development Authority, defining its powers and functions, providing funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Gatchalian.
To the Committees on Environment and Finance.
1104, an act providing for the improvement of maternal and childbirth services by establishing birthing centers, training traditional birth attendants, and institutionalizing a layaway program and appointing funds therefore, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committees on Health, Women, and Finance.
1105, strengthening and modernizing the warehouse receipts system, repealing Act Number 2137, or the Warehouse Receipts Law of 1912, and other related purposes, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committees on Trade and Finance.
1106, creating the Council for the Built Environment, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committees on Civil Service and Finance. Government Reorganization and Finance.
1107, amending RA 9266, the Architecture Act of 2004 and for other purposes, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committee on Civil Service.
1108, mandating accident and life insurance coverage for construction workers, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committee on Labor.
1109, providing for moratorium, rental payments, and eviction during disasters and other emergencies, Senator Gatchalian.
To the Committees on Trade and Housing.
1110, an act establishing the rights of passengers of taxis, tourist car transport services, and other similar vehicles for hire, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committee on Public Services.
1111, mandating the Land Bank of the Philippines and the Development Bank of the Philippines to create a bank account for every unbanked Filipino and for other purposes, Senator Gatchalian.
To the Committees on Banks and Finance.
1112, regulating transportation network services, imposing and authorizing fees, providing penalties for violations and for other purposes, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committee on Public Services.
1113, providing protection to the elderly against abuse, neglect, and exploitation, prescribing penalties for violations thereof, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committees on Justice, Social Justice, and Finance.
1114, regulating the sale of motor vehicles in Metro Manila by requiring a proof of parking space or facility from motor vehicle buyers as a prerequisite for the purchase of a motor vehicle and registration with the LTO, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committees on Trade and Public Services.
1115, strengthening the barangay as the basic local government unit by increasing its capacity to deliver services, providing salary grades, retirement benefits, and other entitlements of certain barangay officials, increasing their term of office and other purposes, amending RA 7160, the Local Government Code of 1991, and other related laws, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to Committees on Local Government, Civil Service, and Finance.
1116, an act declaring the month of June of every year as the National Frontliners Month in the entire country, appropriating funds therefore, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committees on Health and Finance.
1117, providing for a more responsive and comprehensive regulation for the practice of the medical profession, repealing RA 2382, as amended, the Medical Act of 1959 and other laws, and for other purposes, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to Committees on Civil Service, Health, and Finance.
1118, declaring June 27 to July 2 of every year as the National Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Week in the entire country, appropriating funds therefore, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to Committees on Trade and Finance.
1119, providing guidelines for the installation and use of closed-circuit television systems, the procedure for access to the images and recordings, the prohibited acts and penalties therefore, and for other purposes, Senator Gatchalian.
To the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs.
1120, an act renaming the Benham Rice as the Philippine Rice or Talampas ng Pilipinas, naming the undersea features therein, and for other purposes, Senator Gatchalian.
To the Committees on Environment and Foreign Relations.
1121, providing protection to freelancers, and for other purposes, Senator Gatchalian.
To the Committee on Labor.
1122, providing for the condonation of penalties for unpaid Social Security System, Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, and the Mutual Development Fund contributions of household employers relative to RA 10361, the Domestic Workers Act or Batas Kasambahay, Senator Gatchalian.
Referred to Committees on Government Corporations and Labor.
1123, an act granting Philippine citizenship to Woon Suk Heo, Senator Gatchalian.
To the Committee on Rules.
1124, amending Section 185 of the Omnibus Election Code as amended by RA 7904 by abolishing the printing of the voters' information and instruction sheets, Senator Marcos.
Referred to the Committee on Electoral Reforms.
1125, strengthening the independence of the Commission on Elections, amending pertinent provisions of BP 881, otherwise known as the Omnibus Election Code as amended, providing funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Marcos.
To the Committees on Electoral Reforms, Civil Service, and Finance.
1126, providing alternative modes of voting for persons in vulnerable situations to exercise the right of suffrage, amending RA 10366, providing funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Marcos.
To the Committees on Electoral Reforms, Social Justice, and Finance.
Senate Number 1127, increasing the authorized expenses of candidates and political parties, amending Section 13 of RA 7166, an act providing for the synchronized national and local elections and for electoral reforms, authorizing appropriations therefore and for other purposes, Senator Marcos.
To the Committees on Electoral Reforms, Ways and Means, and Finance.
1128, promoting and mandating the usage of Filipino music in hotels, resorts, airports, radio stations, restaurants, and other similar establishments, tourist buses, and all flights, international and local, in the Philippines, providing penalties therefore and for other purposes, Senator Marcos.
To the Committees on Culture and Tourism.
1129, declaring the 2nd of June of every year as a special day for the commemoration of the Philippines-Russia Friendship Day, Senator Marcos.
To the Committees on Foreign Relations and Finance.
1130, an act declaring the 9th of August as National Indigenous Peoples Day, a special non-working holiday, and the month of August as National Indigenous Peoples Month, Senator Marcos.
To the Committees on Constitutional Amendments and Cultural Communities.
1131, an act safeguarding the traditional property rights of indigenous peoples and for other purposes, Senator Marcos.
To the Committees on Cultural Communities, Culture, and Finance.
1132, an act designating the second Sunday of September as the National Grandparents' Day and for other purposes, Senator Marcos.
To the Committee on Women.
1133, an act integrating basic road safety and comprehensive driver's education in the curriculum of the Enhanced Basic K-12 program, Senator Ejercito.
To the Committees on Basic Education and Finance.
1134, an act repealing Republic Act Number 10912, the Continuing Professional Development Act of 2016, Senator Ejercito.
To the Committee on Civil Service.
1135, an act ordaining the promotion of social enterprises to elevate property, establishing for the purpose the Poverty Reduction to Social Entrepreneurship Program and providing support, benefits, and appropriations therefore. Senator Ejercito.
To the Committees on Trade, Social Justice, Ways and Means, and Finance.
1136, providing for simplified registration, filing of returns, and payment of income and percentage taxes, and providing for the tax relief for microenterprises, amending Section 74, 128, and 236 of the NIRC as amended. Senator Ejercito.
Refer to the Committee on Ways and Means.
1137, an act instituting a national land use policy, providing the implementing mechanisms therefore and for other purposes. Senator Ejercito.
To the Committees on Sustainable Development Goals and Finance.
1138, providing hazard pay to government employees working in hazardous conditions and appropriating funds therefore. Senator Ejercito.
To the Committees on Civil Service and Finance.
1139, establishing the Suporta para sa Produktong Pilipino program, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Senator Ejercito.
To the Committees on Civil Service and Trade and Local Government. Trade, Local Government, and Finance.
Senate number 1140, an act instituting a national comprehensive framework on resilient housing and human settlements, appropriating funds therefore. Senator Ejercito.
To the Committees on Urban Planning and Finance.
1141, establishing a credit assistance program for overseas Filipino workers. Senator Ejercito.
To the Committees on Migrant Workers and Finance.
1142, providing for the administrative reform and reorganization of the Philippine Coast Guard, repealing RA 9993, the Philippine Coast Guard Law of 2009. Senator Ejercito.
To the Committees on Public Services, Government Reorganization, Ways and Means, and Finance.
Senate number 1143, regulating the imposition of fees for the use of parking spaces located within commercial and business establishments, institutions, and other parking facilities. Senator Ejercito.
Refer to the Committee on Trade.
1144, an act instituting a national land use policy, providing the implementing mechanisms therefore and for other purposes. Senator Villanueva.
To the Committees on Sustainable Development Goals and Finance.
1145, an act expanding the coverage of the National Feeding Program, amending RA 11037, the Masustansyang Pagkain para sa Batang Pilipino Act, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Senator Villanueva.
To the Committees on Basic Education, Agriculture, and Finance.
1146, an act providing free insurance for covered applicants of overseas employment certificates, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Senator Villanueva.
To the Committees on Migrant Workers and Finance.
1147, an act expanding the prohibited acts of discrimination against women on the basis of sex, amending Articles 135 and 137 of PD 442 as amended. The Labor Code of the Philippines. Senator Villanueva.
To the Committees on Labor and Women.
1148, providing for simplified registration, filing of returns, and payment of income and percentage taxes, and providing tax relief for microenterprises, amending Section 74, 128, and 236 of the NIRC as amended. Senator Villanueva.
Referred to the Committee on Ways and Means.
1149, amending Section 6 of RA 1379, otherwise known as an act declaring forfeiture in favor of the state any property found to have been unlawfully acquired by any public officer or employee, providing for the proceedings therefore and for other purposes. Senator Villanueva.
To the Committee on Justice.
1150, an act strengthening the Witness Protection, Security, and Benefit Program, amending RA 6981, the Witness Protection and Security and Benefit Act, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Senator Villanueva.
To the Committees on Justice and Finance. There is additional reference to business. Would you mind this, Majority Leader?
Yes, Mr. President, not at all. We may proceed.
Go
No
ahead.
objection, Mr. President.
No objection. No objection from the Deputy Minority Leader. Go ahead.
Additional reference to business, bills on first reading, Senate number 1151, an act expanding employment opportunities for senior citizens, amending RA 7432, an act to maximize the contribution of senior citizens to nation building, grant benefits and special privileges, and for other purposes as amended. Senator Villanueva.
To the Committees on Social Justice and Labor.
1152, an act declaring August 9 of every year as the Philippines-Israel Friendship Day. Senator Villanueva.
Referred to the Committee on Foreign Relations.
1153, mandating government agencies and local government units to allocate at least 25% of their budget for furniture and fixture to products made of engineered bamboo and other bamboo-based commodities. Senator Villanueva.
To the Committee on Finance.
1154, providing for a Magna Carta of commuters. Senator Villanueva.
To To the Committees on Public Services and Finance.
1155, stimulating the recovery, growth, and development of the micro, small, and medium enterprises for job generation and preservation, appropriating funds and for other purposes, Senator Villanueva.
To the Committees on Trade and Finance.
1156, requiring proof of available parking space for motor vehicle owners in the metropolitan areas as a prerequisite for the registration of a motor vehicle with the LTO, amending RA 4136, otherwise known as the Land Transportation and Traffic Code, and for other purposes, Senator Villanueva.
To the Committees on Public Services and Trade.
1157, an act declaring the Maramo section of the Angat River System in Barangay San Mateo, Norsagaray, Bulacan, an ecotourism destination to be known as the Maramo Nature Reserve, Senator Villanueva.
To the Committees on Tourism, Environment, and Finance.
1158, declaring the municipality of Doña Remedios Trinidad, Bulacan, an ecotourism zone, Senator Villanueva.
To the Committees on Tourism, Environment, and Finance.
1159, establishing the Aklan Piña Museum and Cultural Center in Calibo, Aklan, its satellite centers, defining its purposes and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Villanueva.
To the Committees on Culture and Arts and Finance.
1160, designating the month of November as Buy Pinoy, Build Pinoy Month to encourage the public and private sectors to prioritize the purchase and utilization of Filipino products, labor, and services, Senator Villar C.
Referred to the Committee on Trade.
1161, establishing the Waste Workers Health and Welfare Program and for other purposes, Senator Villar C.
To the Committees on Labor and Finance.
1162, establishing a comprehensive and integrated national policy and program guidelines for the operation and maintenance of dormitories and boarding houses, providing penalties and for other purposes, Senator Villar C.
To the Committees on Urban Planning and Local Government.
1163, establishing the National Cybersecurity Agency, defining their powers and functions, appropriating funds therefore, and for other purposes, Senator Estrada.
To the Committees on Science and Technology, Civil Service, Ways and Means, and Finance.
1164, strengthening the Energy Regulatory Commission, amending certain sections of RA 9136, the Electric Power Industry Reform Act of 2001, and for other purposes, Senator Estrada.
To the Committees on Energy, Public Services, and Finance.
1165, an act modernizing the immigration system in the Philippines, repealing Commonwealth Act 613, the Immigration Act of 1940, and for other purposes, Senator Estrada.
To the Committees on Justice, Civil Service, and Finance.
1166, promoting and supporting the development and growth of the Philippine film industry, creating for this purpose the Philippine Film Commission, and defining its powers and functions, Senator Villar M.
To the Committees on Public Information, Mass Media, Ways and Means, and Finance.
1167, an act institutionalizing local cleanup teams and increasing the fines and penalties imposed under the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000, amending for the purpose RA 9003, the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000, Senator Tulfo R.
To the Committees on Environment and Local Government.
1168, an act designating the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority as the primary agency responsible for the rehabilitation and maintenance of pumping stations under its jurisdiction, transferring said function, related assets, and records from the DPWH, appropriating funds therefore, and for other purposes, Senator Tulfo R.
To the Committees on Public Works, Local Government, and Finance.
1169, establishing the Drug Price Regulatory Board to regulate the prices of drugs and medicines in the Philippines, amending RA 9502, the Universally Accessible, Cheaper, and Quality Medicines Act of 2008, and for other purposes, Senator Marcos.
Referred to the Committees on Trade, Health, and Finance.
1170, mandating annual psychiatric, psychological, drug, and physical tests for police officers, amending RA 6975 as amended, and for other purposes, Senator Marcos.
Referred to Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs.
Senate Number 1171, amending Republic Act Number 11036, the Mental Health Act, and for other purposes, Senator Marcos.
To the Committee on Health.
1172, providing for the conduct of hybrid national, local, and Bangsamoro Autonomous Region and Muslim Mindanao elections through manual automated voting, counting, canvassing, consolidation, and transmission, amending RA 8436 as amended, and for other purposes, Senator Marcos.
To the Committees on Electoral Reforms and Finance.
1173, modifying the grounds for substitution of candidates, amending for this purpose Section 77 of Batas Pambasa Bilang 881, Series of 1985, the Omnibus Election Code, Senator Marcos.
Referred to Committee on Electoral Reforms.
Senate Number 1174, strengthening the mental health services of state and local universities and colleges, appropriating funds therefore, and for other purposes, Senator Ontiveros.
To the Committees on Higher, Technical and Vocational Education, Health, and Finance.
Senate Number 1175, amending Republic Act Number 11350, the National Commission of Senior Citizens Act, and for other purposes, Senator Tulfo E.
To the Committees on Social Justice and Civil Service.
Senate Number 1176, defining and prohibiting elder abuse, providing penalties therefore and for other purposes, Senator Ontiveros.
To the Committees on Justice and Social Justice.
1177, promoting the use of aeroponics, hydroponics, and aquaponics for the production of high-value fish, crops, and vegetables, and for other purposes, Senator Marcos.
To the Committees on Agriculture, Basic Education, and Finance.
1178, establishing the National Heroes Council under the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Marcos.
To the Committees on Culture and Finance.
Senate Number 1179, declaring the Paraiso Tea Caribquib located in Daramuangan, Caribquib, Municipality of Bana, Ilocos Norte, an ecotourism destination, providing for its development and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Marcos.
To the Committees on Tourism, Environment, and Finance.
1180, an act declaring the province of Ilocos Norte as the garlic capital of the Philippines, Senator Marcos.
Referred to the Committee on Agriculture.
1181, an act to promote and enhance the doubling of income of farmers, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Marcos.
To the Committees on Agriculture, Ways and Means, and Finance.
1182, an act strengthening the National Agriculture and Fisheries Extension System to accelerate agriculture and fisheries development, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, Senator Pangilinan.
To the Committees on Agriculture and Finance.
1183, an act ensuring the development, promotion, and protection of agricultural cooperatives, providing for the creation of the Bureau of Agricultural Cooperatives and for other purposes, Senator Pangilinan.
To the Committees on Agriculture, Ways and Means, and Finance.
1184, mandating law enforcement officers.
Cooperatives also, and also to the cooperatives for Senate Bill 1183.
Senate Number 1184, an act mandating law enforcement officers to use a body-worn camera during law enforcement operations, providing penalties for violation and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Estrada.
To the Committees on Public Order, Dangerous Drugs, and Finance.
Senate Number 1185, an act promoting Philippine indigenous and traditional writing systems and providing for their protection, preservation, and conservation, Senator Lapid.
Referred to the Committee on Culture and the Arts.
1186, increasing the personal economic relief allowance granted to government employees to 5,000 pesos, appropriating funds therefore, Senator Lapid.
To the Committees on Civil Service and Finance.
1187, upgrading, creating additional positions in the Office of the Government Corporate Counsel, amending EO 878 dated 4 March 1983 as amended by EO 299 dated 26 July 1987, Senator Lapid.
To the Committees on Justice, Civil Service, and Finance.
1188, increasing the representation of Filipino migrant workers in the Board of Directors of the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation to 2 permanent members, 1 each for land-based and sea-based Filipino migrant workers, Senator Lapid.
To the Committees on Government Corporations and Migrant Workers.
1189, an act designating 2 of the 8 members of the NLRC representing the workers' organizations as representatives of land-based and sea-based overseas Filipino workers respectively, further amending Article 213 of PD 442 as amended, the Labor Code of the Philippines, Senator Lapid.
To the Committees on Labor and Migrant Workers.
1190, promoting the development and regulation of artificial intelligence in the Philippines, Senator Lapid.
To the Committees on Sustainable Development Goals, Science and Technology, and Finance.
1191, an act further amending Republic Act Number 7836, the Philippine Teachers Professionalization Act of 1994 as amended by RA 9293, Senator Lapid.
Referred to the Committee on Civil Service.
Senate Number 1192, strengthening the National Nutrition Program, amending RA 11037, the Masustansyang Pagkain para sa Batang Pilipino Act, appropriating funds and for other purposes, Senator Lapid.
Referred to Committees on Basic Education and Agriculture.
1193, providing for a comprehensive nursing law towards a quality healthcare system and appropriating funds therefore, repealing RA 9173, the Philippine Nursing Act of 2002, Senator Zubiri.
To the Committees on Civil Service, Health, and Finance.
1194, creating a dental unit in every rural health unit under the Department of Health as part of the primary approach in the delivery of health services and providing funds therefore, Senator Zubiri.
To the Committees on Health and Finance.
1195, upgrading the Bukidnon Provincial Hospital in the Municipality of Maramag, Province of Bukidnon into a tertiary level 3 general hospital to be known as the Bukidnon Provincial Hospital, Maramag, under the control, supervision, and management of the Department of Health and appropriating funds therefore, Senator Zubiri.
referred to the Committee on Rules.
1196, transferring the control and supervision of the provincial and sub-provincial jails to the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Senator Zubiri.
To the Committees on Public Order, Local Government, and Finance.
1197, establishing the Philippine Geriatric Medical Center, otherwise known as the Senior Citizens Hospital, appropriating funds therefore. Senator Zubiri.
To the Committees on Health, Ways and Means, and Finance.
1198, an act granting the practice of microbiology in the Philippines and for other purposes. Senator Zubiri.
To the Committees on Civil Service, Science and Technology, and Finance.
1199, creating a Congressional Commission on Agriculture, Fisheries, and Food Security to review, assess, and evaluate the state of Philippine agriculture and recommend innovative and targeted policy reforms in agriculture, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Senator Pangilinan.
To the Committees on Agriculture and Finance.
Senate number 1200, an act requiring elected and appointed officials of public offices, including the President of the Republic of the Philippines, to undergo an annual mandatory drug testing and institutionalizing voluntary random drug testing of candidates for electoral posts within 90 days prior to Election Day, amending for the purpose RA 9165, the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, Senator Padilla.
To the Committees on Public Order and Civil Service. Majority Leader.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, we finally have the list of the members of the Commission on Appointments. I know we need to, of course, elect the members due to the fact that we have about 4 new secretaries in 4 different departments, and we also have to do the organizational meeting as early as next week, Wednesday. So, Mr. President, on the part of the majority, I move that we elect Senator Risa Hontiveros, Senator Lauren Legarda, Senator J.V. Ejercito, Senator Rafi Tulfo, Senator Mark Villar, Senator Ping Lacson, and Senator Lito Lapid, who will be taking his first term as a member of the CA. So that's 7 members, Your Honor.
Any objection? Chair hears none. The enumerated names are hereby elected into the Commission on Appointments.
And for the part of the minority, we'd like to also elect, with the permission of the body, Senator Joel Villanueva, Senator Christopher Bongo, Senator Rodante Marcoleta, Senator Aimee Marcos, and the .5, and my .5, as I mentioned earlier, I will step down from the CA, Mr. President, to accommodate the member of the minority to stand the first half of the term. And that would be Senator Jinggoy Estrada, Mr. President.
Any objection? Chair hears none. The enumerated names will compose the 5 members from the minority.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. With that, Mr. President, there are no further no further agenda at hand. I move that we adjourn the session until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 15, 2025. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President.
Any objection? Chair hears none. The session is adjourned until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Monday, September 15, 2025.